face. We're gonna go get an actual coin, and we're gonna say heads or tails. Heads for Louis gets his server first. Tails for Beastie gets his server first. Let me just decide which one's heads. The guy with the head, that one's heads. Okay, so this is not rigged. I mean, there's a
don't
head.
rig it. I can see it's rigged already.
There's a head. Okay, so head is Louis. Okay, so I feel like this is. Did I catch it? Did I catch it? Wait. Okay, we'll do that again. I'll just do it this way. Okay, that's gonna be tails. Thank you very much for the raid, Devo. We just had a very professional moment where I was rolling the coin. We got to tails, so Beastyqt will be getting his server first, US East. So we...
Rigged. Definitely rigged.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you guys saw the head. I honestly, it just fell. I'm not really good at flipping coins. I should have known. And my biggest fear here was making it fall into the coffee, which would probably be the biggest distraction out there, because this is the juice of life.
Yeah, this is your lifeline right now. You've had a long day.
Now, while we wait for Beastie and for Louis to get into the game, I wanted us to still take a quick look at the bracket, go over the civilizations. I mean, with the skill difference, we didn't expect Myria to take down Beastie, and it was also supposed to be a favorite matchup for Beastie in this case, the one favorite matchup. But I feel like Kiljardy, people were definitely talking about him. People were definitely like, hey, this guy, he's going to make it with HRE. Is there anyone from this bracket that you were like, oh, they're going to make it, and they didn't?
We kind of had the expected people in the making it. I feel. I guess Baltune demo is a bit of a was a bit of a surprise there. Probably some could have expected demo to make it. I think Vortex and Core, like, I think Rus is such a strong civilization that I was kind of scared for Vortex, but he just proved us that you know, skill matters more than balance, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, to come back to Kiljardy, it was actually Kiljardy and Wham was actually a very close series, right? Like we thought he could have made it, but it ended up being it was 3-2.
Yeah.
So you know,
and Wham,
it's not like it was a destruction. Like he still put up a really good fight.
Yeah, Wham honestly showed us that yes, Byzantines is not a waterlit civilization, but what if? What if? And
what if indeed?
what if? But as you were mentioning, the demo thing now, for those of you who don't know, some people were not present for the drawing and then we had to randomize the civilization. So demo got a little bit stuck with Ottomans. But even with Ottomans, I felt like demo was gonna kick Baltoon's butt. However, Baltoon on French is in a pretty good situation right now, so it's understandable. I think the biggest surprise between these two, and I think most people were pretty baffled by the fact that English could take down French, because English right now has been seen as the second weakest civilization next to Abbasid. I remember when Beastie was talking about this, he was like, just not English, just not Abbasid, and here we have French and Abbasid all the way in the semifinals. So somehow these two found one another. All the way here at the back.
Yeah, the classic French-English matchup. It's been a while, but yeah, I feel like right now it's definitely not a very good one for English for sure. But Vortex he likes English, so you know.
Yeah, Vortex should be comfortable on English because he used to be an enjoyer of the English before it was broken, and he knows how to adjust. I feel like we have some of these wild card players. We have people like Louis, you can be super creative. You have Vortex, and I feel like Puppy Paw might be the more standard guy in all of this. So yeah, for those of you asking, what about all the other games? Puppy and Vortex, they will be waiting, and they will be starting their first game during match point with Beastie and Louis, because we want to be sure that the person that does finish there, we're going to be a little bit behind, probably 10-15 minutes behind them, just so that they get that little bit of break. Because what we want to do here over at Age of RTS and in any tournament that we have, we want to listen to the players. And before we go into the game, I'm just going to check. Oh, no, never mind. There's not going to be before we go into the game. They've started. So guys, we're going to go into the game. But we're going to be talking about this a little bit later. I want to go over some of the results with you guys about what the players want. out of a lot of our events. So ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to hop right in. So I hope you are ready for our first game. I just need to make sure that the scene is actually working. Otherwise we are awkwardly going to be looking at the screen. So ladies and gentlemen, it does seem to be the case. See you guys over there.
This.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm a professional. So guys, we have two civilizations that I feel like not everyone would have voted to be in the semis. Ayyubids versus Abbasid. Now, Beastyqt and Louie, they've got a little bit of a history here. Beastyqt has been a player that consistently does well in tournaments, but Louie has been a giant slayer. This man, he can beat anyone at any point. He's just waiting to surprise you. So, anything you want to be saying about this matchup in general, Mr. Shuki?
I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen this matchup in a pro tournament, to be honest. I think this matchup has like changed quite a lot. Like Ayyubid used to be like one of the S tier civilizations, and this matchup used to feel like really hard. And then Abbasid had the buff with the cheaper farms and the cheaper TCs, with the eco wing buffs, and it felt like at that moment that matchup kind of became a Abbasid favorite, and Ayyubid had nerfs at the same time. So right now, I don't really know what we're supposed to expect. I would imagine that it would be slightly Abbasid favored, maybe, but honestly, I have no idea. And because we have the Pro Scout meta, and none of these civilizations are really known to be Pro Scout enjoyers, so we're gonna have to see what happens here. And Louis yesterday kind of threw a lot of different. Like he tried a lot of different wings, a lot of different stuff. He didn't really play the same play all the time. So we'll have to see what he has in store this time.
And what I think a lot of people might be wondering, but why aren't we sure? Why are we saying we don't know? Because we don't. There's no meta where these civilizations are going to be your main pick on any of these maps. Like Baldland, for example, we're not seeing people jump at the opportunity to pick Abbasid and Ayyubids on these maps. So the whole point of this event is for you guys to see something you won't necessarily see in these mainstream tournaments, for you to see exactly what the meta could be if these were forced. I see if someone's asking where can I see the map draft, I'll show it to you right after this game. We just had to jump in pretty quickly. But now the culture wing coming out here from Beastyqt, and on the other side we see Eco Wing.
Yeah, Culture Wing is already you know, a different non-meta look. I guess we could expect either military or Eco Wing. But yeah, Beastyqt is looking like he's gonna go for Culture Wing, and that could be potentially a Pro Scout player from Abbasid.
The thing is, with the current meta, it feels like we can just keep saying we don't know. It does, with the gold floating, definitely does feel that way. But at the same time, I feel like we could get a surprise out of any direction. I mean, like you're saying there, with the amount of wood, you have enough villagers over here. Oh, no, actually. Preservation of knowledge comes in. Reduces all the cost of technology and age advancements. Now, guys, the reason I floated over that one is because I think most of us might be like, huh? What does that even do? Now, the reason for this is because I believe your Pro Scouts is going to be cheaper as well.
Yeah, Pro Scout is going to be cheaper after it. So, and he's dropping the stable, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Pro Scout play from Abbasid.
And
Louis dropping an archery range, so probably Desert Traders, I'm guessing.
And when you're dealing with Pro Scouts, Desert Traders, they should be doing okay, but the problem is they're quite expensive, and to make them consistently, they're going to cost quite a bit. The thing is, from yesterday's games, we saw that Louis is actually a man who doesn't mind going for Fast Castle behind this, and with 5 on gold, I'm not expecting him to be making a lot of units, and just as I say that, there are no units in this queue just yet, so we'll see what the man is cooking. Pro Scouts now coming out from Beastyqt, but at the same time, Louis is looking straight at Castle without producing anything.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I really thought Louis would be making units. He kind of made units all the time on every single game yesterday. So yeah, right now with the tower dropping on gold, it looks like he's gonna play this a bit more passively.
And Pro Scouts with that nice little discount is 82.20. Not the biggest of discounts, but it does add up, right? So now with him still having 4 on gold, we can see he's making a horseman as well, and this might make it a little bit tougher to actually go for a clean, fast castle as Louis likes to do. But he does make a singular Desert Raider to be able to counteract this. Now keep in mind, with Louis going for Eco Wing, he did get that 3 extra villager boost that you get at the start. And we'll see what Mr. Desert Raider is going to be snacking on when he runs forward. So he first snacks on a wolf though. Not the scariest of the bunch, but definitely annoying to handle.
I'm still kiting the wolf. You can see the pro APM there.
And now, keep in mind, a lot of players, when they get to these Asiatic matches, there's a lot of discussion about which server is more fair for which player. And a lot of people despise playing on India. So we did a little bit of a voting situation with all the players, asking them exactly which servers they prefer to play on when playing an Asiatic match. So most of them said the US West and US East as a switcheroo, instead of just doing one that favors the other. So on this server, we're currently playing on US East, which means that Louis does have a little bit of a higher ping than Beasty, and the next match will go over to Louis' favor in a way of selecting servers. He'll be on the US West, where Beasty will be having the extra ping that Louis is currently struggling with.
Yeah, I think none of these players want to play on the famous Indian server that everybody hates.
What do you mean? It's the perfect place. But with the 5 horsemen now, Louis is forced to make another one, but he's already clicked up the culture wing. Now, with the fact that he gets logistics here and getting those dervishes, this is going to mean that those camels, that even if they do take damage, they're going to be healed up to full pretty quickly. And we can see these horses, they're not going to have that luxury for now. So he's going to cause a little bit of idle time. But Beasty knows with that amount of gold, he's definitely going to be able to make some plays into castle.
Ooh, and that's a pretty nice raid from Beasty there. Looks like he's gonna lose a horseman for a villager. It's probably a decent trade.
Yeah, Beasty should be happy with that one. He knows that Louis has that 3 villager advantage initially, so he does need to do some free damage before Louis could respond. And getting one of those just slows Louis a little bit down while Beasty tries and catches up. Because now, when you are Abbasid and Ayyubids, all of you guys know, you can't age up faster. You're kind of doing what you can get. So 1 minute and 44 seconds, that's the timer for Louis to do damage before Beasty can make an appropriate response to what we can assume is going to be Camel Lancers.
Yeah, for sure. Camel Lancers are gonna do really well against those horsemen here, which are already almost dead in a way.
Losing all of those horsemen is so bad for Beasty right now, because sorry guys, my mouse me and my mouse are having a really big battle at the moment. But losing those horsemen means that Louis gets to sit back and pick up the relics, or he could also be aggressive, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's getting some camel lancers behind this. Beasty needs to prepare, and I see some buildings being placed down. We see they are the archery ranges, and I'm assuming he's going to be getting something that can handle a big camel lancer charging at you. I just don't know if that is going to be enough when you're facing the numbers that Louis is planning on sending his way.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what he has in store. It could be like he's gonna be getting the free camel riders, right, from the military wing, and then maybe it could be camel archers. So maybe we're gonna see a bit of a camel on camel battle here. I'm not exactly sure what they have in store. To be honest, I don't really know what the interaction between camel rider and camel lancer is supposed to go. This is not the kind of play that we see too often.
Yeah, we have no idea how these will play out, and I'm actually kind of excited to see. Now, losing the horses, you guys can see he's still making them. It's not about horses not doing well against camels. You want to be able to have units to cause your opponent to have to react. But we do have our first 2 camels out now, and this should be enough to stop this very optimistic push here from Louis. He's got a singular archer building that ram, and even though you don't need siege engineering, that does still bode to be quite expensive. The camel riders, though, they are going to be a little bit of a presence here surrounding the horsemen, and even though they are camels and they debuff other camels, you still get that mobility that is going to go with the horseman. And picking up a nice little desert raider is going to bode very well for him. But 3 relics in Louis' base now, uncontested, because at this point, there's just nothing Beasty can do to stop this. He's going to have to find another way to get ahead of that, I would say.
I mean, Beasty's gonna have a lot of food. Louis has or had a couple extra villagers from the eco wing, and he's gonna be getting all the relics. So yeah, both of these players are gonna get a different eco advantage.
So
and
now
there's still a lot of berries on this map too. So
there's a lot of crossbows coming out of him, and we can see with that amount of crossbows, you are going to be able to fight these off well, but they are archers, they are, well, not just camel lancers, but there's also going to be a few of those, wait, I was about to say a few, but the desert raiders are very, very far between, and with these units, he's going to be able to push this back. The villagers do make it out, and they can repair that tower, the ram going down, and all he got out of that was a little bit of idle time.
yeah, that was quite an unexpected push from Louis, I felt. But yeah, I guess he thought he had the advantage there and could try to get Beasty off gold. But Beasty is not that easy to face when he's playing defense.
Oh, what we can see here is the movement speed being quite equal, 162. And when you look at the camel lancers here, when he's charging, he's pretty aggressive. But he's one stop at 1.62 as well. So these knights that he's sending all around, they're going to be able to do some work, but they are going to go down eventually, especially with this huge amount of mobility. Now, the count for the villagers have been equalized, which is pretty amazing, all things considered. Now, we do see these groups chasing one another, and with horsemen, they do catch up a little bit more. And even though they are a little bit uneased right now, losing that bit of damage, it's still not something these camels want to turn around and fight, because the moment they do, these guys are going to be right on top of them.
Yeah, exactly. I legit don't think I've ever seen camel riders versus camel lancers before, so I don't know like who is supposed to win that engagement. I really don't. I think they both debuff each other, if I understand this correctly, but then I don't really know.
So let's read it. Let's go. Bonus damage to cavalry. These guys. Stronger melee combat countered by spearman crossbow. I have no idea. I think we will see the interaction soon. I feel like this is the opportunity to go and research this. To put the camel lancers, put the camel riders against one another and see how that would play out. No upgrades, boys. Camel riders destroy any cavalry. Oh well, Twitch chat knows best, guys. So that's how we'll know. Now, with these guys, they aren't something to scoff at. And the map is quite open. We know with Boldland, there are a lot of opportunities to try and destroy your opponent by just sliding into the sidelines, because there aren't a lot of wood lines to just easily wall into. Now, they do decap the sacred sites, and with Louis drowning in resources right now, he's definitely, especially gold, he's definitely not too worried about this. You can take your sacred sites back, he says, but I'm going to try and find some damage in the rest of your base.
Yeah, it's a really, really hard base to defend. It's very, very open. It's really hard to wall. So cavalry is always really strong on this map, and raiding is usually pays off.
Now, Twitch chat definitely has schooled us in here, and everyone's saying camel riders are amazing against the lancers. So apparently a counterplay that we will probably never see again, unless Abbasid gets resurrected from the dead after this tournament. People get inspired. They're like, whoa, I've never seen Abbasid plays like this. And then they make a comeback.
Feel we'll see it again. That's, I think, one of the fun part of AoE is that the meta keeps changing all the time, so usually it doesn't get stale for too long. And I feel that's one of the very good points that makes the game the replayability so good, right? Now, one thing that I want you guys to notice, and what Shuki said here, that is the replayability of the game, because there's so many different strategies you can go for, but every single strategy comes at a cost. So with Beasty not going for Eco Wing here, that food that he needs to get and have under his TC, this is going to be so important, because very soon he's going to run out of deer. He's going to run out of those extra sheep that he has under there, and he's going to have to make a plan to get some. But with the amount of control he has at the front,
he feels confident in this because Abbasid has that cheap farm transition, but not without ecoing. So right now, Beastyqt probably doesn't want to let this game go that far. Camel Riders at the front, trying to do a little bit of damage, but they do get picked off by these archers and a handful of crossbows alongside them.
Yeah, and that's 36 crossbows from Beastyqt, so that's a pretty scary army. Louis definitely has to be careful here, because I feel if they were to engage into each other right now, I'm pretty sure Beastyqt would destroy Louis' army.
And Louis knows this. You can see with him getting a mangonel, he realizes I need to find an answer for these, because right now, there's nothing. Now with the riders getting on top of the villagers, he's easily going to take these out. But the dervish looking in every direction, the mangonel should be ready to do something about this too. Now, these camel riders are doing their best to shut down the lancers, because again, a very open map with a lot of raid ability.
Yeah, and we had a bit of a taste of that engagement between Camel Lancers and Camel Riders, and it does seem like the Camel Riders are doing pretty well there.
The Camel Riders are keeping them back. Now the question is just whether those... Oh my goodness, what a cheeky wall from Louis. Louis says, I don't want you to wall this off. But I do think that that villager is going to need to travel a little bit further than the others. We do see the crossbows now moving forward, and I assume... No, that's just Delhi. I was about... Wait. No. I almost got excited here. I was like, can they also do that?
No, they can't.
Oh, Delhi. Come on, man.
For the Abba enjoyers.
Now, finally, he does decap both at the same time. There was a little battle over this one, but Beastyqt prevailed. And now we have a pretty equal eco. But we have to ask ourselves, what do we have left in their bases? Both of these players are still... The food is getting quite questionable. And when we have villagers in these groups, you know that the wood is starting to get a little thin and we need to think about, okay, what is next? Berries here at the back, still healthy enough, but the berries on Beastyqt's side, a few more is left because of those professional scouts. Now, Louis has done his work. He tries to go out on some extra berries here because they need to be thinking about late castle. And right now, late castle is looking kind of scary, a little bit scarier for Louis than it does for Beastyqt, because it feels like Beastyqt has the front control of this map, and the camel riders alongside them.
That is so many camel riders. I don't think I've ever seen this many camel riders in a pro game before.
Make camels great again, they say. And these camels, they don't need reason. They're just going to be going straight against your lances. Now, I do feel like he has a pretty good answer to this, getting the amount of crossbows too. But pairing them with the amount of archers, he's probably hoping to target fire these boys at the back. But with the mangonel, you are going to be struggling to micro those properly. The thing is, Beastyqt knows, and he knows the weakness of a big mass of archers, and that is definitely a mangonel on his side as well. But Louis is aggressive, he keeps his units active, he's not just going to sit back and let this happen. You can see he's got two raid groups going towards Beastyqt's base right now, and Beastyqt is looking straight at the front.
Yeah, Beastyqt knows that his army is looking pretty strong right now, and I'm not sure how Louis is going to answer to this. And he answers with, ooh, that's a very nice mangonel shot to start off.
That is a...
And I mean, recently we had, the crossbows just got a small nerf, right? Where they had one less damage against regular units. So right now, I imagine the archers should be trading a bit better than they used to. So yeah, we're gonna see how this engagement goes, because I think Beastyqt is trying to go for it.
It feels like Beastyqt is trying to do what Louis is doing to him right now. Louis is very active, constantly on top of him, and it just means that Louis is, he's living a good life inside Beastyqt's base, but he's now giving Beastyqt ideas. Beastyqt says, I see this works against me, it's probably going to work against you too. He's invested quite a lot into trying to get this tower down and denying that gold, but I don't know if it was so worth it. Those are very hurt archers and crossbows. Oh, very hurt crossbows right now, but he realizes, great idea there, Louis. Let me get one of my own. Now, Beastyqt has tapped out yet another gold here, so this is going to start to get a little bit harder, and the camel riders are keeping a handful of spearmen busy alongside this.
Yeah, and I feel like in theory this should be a good time for Beastyqt to try and start trading, because he should still have a lot of food available since he went pro scout. Meanwhile, Louis should be running out of food right now. So in theory, if they just trade now, BC should have a better time replenishing his army.
Now we're gonna go switch over to the food per minute here. Louis now, it looks like he's living a great life, but keep in mind, again, those are limited resources. Beasty seems like he is just trying to make the most effective units and trying to get out of that. Now with the riders here, they do get taken down by the spearmen, and that's just the issue when you're busy trying to focus on more than one spot at the same time. I say that, and Beasty's units are very much in one spot at this point. They have their eyes set on the front of the base, and that's it. They've decided where they want to be going.
Yeah, and this is definitely the difference between these top players and more normal ladder players. That they are able to just keep trading the entire time, be active in 1, 2, 3, 4 places at the same time. And yeah, this is what makes these games so hard and what makes them so good, right?
Yeah, a lot of players do have that one-trick pony ability where they do pretty well on a handful of civilizations or one civilization, but it didn't seem to work too well in this tournament so far. But let's see those mangonel shots. It does look like Beasty is specifically targeting the mangonels himself. The spearmen here providing an amazing front line for these camels, but those mangonels are in danger now because the front line has been destroyed, and the spearmen, they do pretty well against the crossbow mass.
Yeah, the spearman switch was really, really good from Louis here, because Beasty doesn't really have a strong answer to this. Like, I mean, crossbows are gonna do okay, but it's not like they actually are a real counter. So, oh yeah.
And Beasty calls it. He realizes.
Calls it.
He realizes, woo, that's a big army, and I don't have the counter to deal with this.
That was a really good switch from Louis. Spears are OP, chat.
When dealing with crossbows, a lot of players say that when you're trying to handle them, it's great that you're trying to make crossbows of your own, but they are just going to outdo you with these armored units, etc. So a lot of people opt for the spearmen because they also deal with any cavalry frontline pretty easily. So definitely a tough time here for Beasty. Him calling it at the end there, we can see the raids paid off at the back. And that's the problem with Baldland. It is a very open map, and it's so easy for people to actually go around and fight them when you are not walled up completely. And even though he was walled up for a while, it felt like Louis didn't care. He just destroyed the walls and went right through. He was very aggressive with this. He had a villager there in the depths of Beasty's side as well, just ensuring that he's going to be able to do this. Now, I want you guys to see how close the resources gathered was for most of this map. So these players definitely stayed on top of it, but with Louis getting those 5 relics and having those extra villages at the start definitely helped keep this thing even for a while, until it was just a little bit too much. So, destruction. First one going over to Louis.
Very strong game from Louis, and the pro scout from Abbasid not really paying off. So I'm curious to see if they're gonna try and throw a new look in the next game. Louis indeed threw a lot of different looks at Eliminaton yesterday, so I imagine he's gonna be doing the same here.
Now, I do see that I accidentally put the logo right on top of the next map, so but I do think the next map is still set on Baldland. We have a little bit of a tech situation here, as South Africa currently is experiencing something called load shedding, which means that there's no electricity. So our poor little admin is struggling to click all the buttons at the same time. So scores will be updated shortly. We just got to give him a moment here, as he needs to click the buttons in very different places. So the logo here, definitely a saving grace for us. But we will be going into the next map of Dry Arabia. And you guys can see the matchups perfectly planned out here today. These guys, we brought you only the best matchups of ladders. So guys, is Louis going to make this a destruction, or is Beasty going to be able to bring it back with Abbachads?
Yeah, let's see what happens. Abbasid, even though they're like a very, they're a 2TC enjoyer civ, they can technically do a lot of different things. So I'm curious to see what he's going to try here. Maybe we're even going to see a trade wing coming out. Who knows?
Trade wing? It does look kind of juicy here. I just feel like both of these players... they're not the kind of guys who would let their opponent trade, but a little sneaky trade, we've seen it do some wonders. So now with us being on Dry Arabia, we are in a position where things are going to get a little bit less open for these players. The wood lines are a little bit safer, they are chunkier, so we will definitely have a little bit less of an advantage here with the raiding.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is still a very open map, right? This is the classic Dry Arabia. Usually people like to play aggressive civ here, but they don't get a choice. They just gotta play their civ.
Yeah, that they're stuck with these civilizations. They were some of the last picks out there, and that unfortunately leaves them with no diversity. And I think both of these civilizations, I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. I feel like they're regarded as some of the most boring civs that we have out there. It just feels like there's nothing big and spicy that comes out of these guys except for camels. But when you have camels against camels,
Camels.
you
Camels
know,
are great.
you know when everyone has priority boarding at the airport, then nobody has priority boarding at the airport. Everyone's standing in exactly the same queue, and I feel like that's this matchup that we're seeing here today. The players that we have in front of us, they're definitely the right guys to keep this spicy. But what I want you guys to notice is Beastyqt going for Eco Wing this time. And him getting 150 gold is telling us the story of a second TC. Louis, on the other hand, going for his Eco Wing, as he always does, knowing that those 3 extra villages are going to skyrocket him into a pretty solid lead.
Yeah, Beastie was like, okay, this pro scrat thingy, I'm not doing it again. I'm gonna play the good old Abbasid 2TC. And I think like this used to be like a last time this civ used to be actually good and picked in pro tournament. This used to be a pretty good way to play against Ayyubids for Abbasid. So we'll see how this goes. And Beastie is definitely known to be a really good macro player, right? Even though Louis is no slouch either. He really loves his late game too. So let's see what happens here.
Now, this is something about Louis. He's going to know what you're doing, and he's going to respond to it. So he sees that the village is on stone. He knows this is a second PC. And we'll see what he responds with. Now, probably again an archery range. But he could be spicing things up. We see the archery range it is. Louis knows how to do that thing, and he does it well. So he's going to keep going ahead with this. But keep in mind, with Abbasid getting their upgrades, these buildings are a little bit cheaper. So he's going to be able to get that TC for quite a bit cheaper soon. I was going to say soon enough, but... Oh, I realize I might be on the wrong side and it just doesn't register. Sometimes the upgrades are a little bit bugged with that.
And let's see where Beastie actually drops the TC. It looks like, I'm not sure what these stone villagers were doing there, but okay, he's just gonna be playing it safe, dropping it on wood.
Now that's interesting, because when you're playing Abbasid, you do have a pretty good answer to Castle Age units. So you know that if you're playing against a Castle Age civilization, usually with your camel archers, you can do pretty well in those trades. Louis, though, he says, I don't need any units actually, I'll just go for castle even faster than before. I say that and I see him rallying this building. He's thinking about it. He's definitely thinking about it. He knows exactly where the TC is. He's killing the deer just to make it a little bit less exciting for if BC does decide to go for the professional scouts. But unfortunately, BC has no intention of doing such a thing.
Yeah, Louis definitely still has not played professional scout a single time in this tournament, I think. He's probably the only player we've casted that hasn't tried pro scout once. So it seems like he just doesn't really care about the current meta, and he's just gonna play the civ to their strengths.
Yeah, Louis knows what works for him, but we'll see now if Beastie is gonna be able to shut down what works for him. Because Beastie realizes, hey, those camel lances did a number on me. I'm going to be struggling with this, dealing with them and their raids consistently, but he knows how to trade and how to capitalize off of this. We don't see him going on to gold as early as expected. Now, with these guys 7 on gold, you're definitely gonna go head towards Castle Age as fast as you can, while knowing that your opponent is aging up already. He goes for exactly the same build, Culture Wing. We're gonna be getting some dervishes, and this is going to make our lives a lot better.
Yeah, this should be easily 4 relics and maybe even 5 again, like the last time. Because Beastie is gonna have a hard time to deal with this, because those dervish come out so fast, right?
Dervishes
And
come
they
out,
are just so fast.
and it's not just about coming out fast. It's also the fact that we're going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. And when I say that, I just mean an avalanche of a dervish that doesn't want to die when it runs around.
Yeah, the healing on those dervish is actually pretty insane. I remember when that build started to come out with the dervish in feudal, and you could send a. I think it was back when the English were played a lot, and they would just send the king to your gold, and you would just have those dervish that out heal the king, which was pretty crazy.
And luckily, no English for us just yet, but maybe next round, Shuki, maybe next round we'll see the king versus the dervish out heal.
Do we really want to see English, though?
I do want to see English in a final. I feel like that would be the ultimate decider. It takes me back to December when we had the top players coaching everyone else, and it came down to an English match in the end. And that's exactly what we live for here. Beautiful. Now, with these guys, now Beastie would be able to click up pretty soon. I'm expecting to see something pretty similar here. Military wing, most likely, just so that he can get those extra units out pretty quickly, considering that the camel lances are most likely on the way to his base, and he knows this. Now, with the units that he had here, he got a few archers, Louis, knowing that he's most likely going to be playing against camel archers. Now, Beastie has not invested in those just yet. He's decided to go for a singular archer, and military wing is the wing of choice. No chicken wing for us today. But as we see this, we know that Beastie is running low on food. Considering that he did go for Eco Wing, this farm transition will be a lot cheaper and it will be a lot quicker. So it is an option, but it does delay you even just a little bit, which will allow Louis to get even further ahead. Now with the archers getting their upgrades as well, we can see that this is probably going to spell a lot of archers going towards Beastie.
Yeah, and I feel like with the TC being forward like this in the woodline, I think Louis could potentially try to do the classic Manjanic push, right? Because the Manjanic are just so good at getting buildings. And I think that might be, that's going to be quite tricky for Beastie to deal with.
Now with all these free relics, let's see if he gets 5 again. I feel like Beastie is just like, let him take it. I can't do much about it. So basically just letting him get that extra gold, letting the second TC make the difference on his side. Now, so far the matchup not looking too great for Mr. Beastyqt here, but the food transition is where my biggest worry is at for this cutie player we have here. He's getting the blacksmith as well. With all these villagers on gold, he's going to try to get those upgrades as quickly as possible. Getting wheelbarrow on the same side, and now specialized pick 2 to try and let the economy of Abbasid flow, because as we know, Abbasid loves getting these different little levels of theirs, their golden ages. And now with 15%, they do have a bit of a bonus, I believe, above Ayyubids. Ayyubids only being at 10% of a bonus for all their villagers.
Yeah, definitely the Abba Eco should be in theory a bit stronger than the Ayyubid, and we can see he's now 10 villages ahead. So obviously there's the relics that are equalizing that a bit. But with every minute that goes by now, Beastie is gonna pull more and more ahead. So we'll have to see if Louis decides to go for his own second TC to kind of stop the bleeding there on Eco, or if he tries to go for the push and just kill Beastie before his Eco can take over.
Now these guys are finding some damage here too. Keeping in mind these villagers do not have their textiles, so they just are wearing these normal little robes, dying pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. It's looking so far like Louis is gonna. I think Ayyubid is not really a civ that's known to be too good in late game, where Abbasid, as we know historically, has been one of the very best late game civ. So, in my head, if I was Louis, I would probably try and finish the game before it reaches late game. So we'll see what he decides to go.
Now, with him getting Sacred Side victory, he's already putting that level of pressure on Beastie. Getting a ram at the front here, also going to be able to force Beastie to respond to this. And Beastie, again, he just doesn't have the food for this. He's out here on the berries, and not with a lot of villagers. The man is probably going to be starving for a little while. He's trying to get as much wood as he can, trying to get many units, but with the amount of archers here, they just don't do that well against camel lancers.
Yeah, I feel like right now Beastyqt just doesn't really have an answer to what Louis is doing. And this is going to be a really, really tough hold, especially with the Dervish providing healing there. I'm not exactly sure how Beastyqt is supposed to deal with this.
It feels like those archers are not going to be able to even dent them in slightly. He doesn't have +2 attack with them either. And this second TC looks like it's going down.
Yeah, and if Beastyqt loses that TC, this game is starting to look pretty rough.
Now, with Beastyqt being on Eco Wing, he does have that ability to transition with farms into the later stages. He does have this villager advantage. It's okay. It's not great. The TC did get a little bit of value, but you still don't have an answer to what is in your base right now. And I think that's the biggest concern here. Beastyqt has not been able to transition anywhere into food resources here. And that's exactly what the problem is here right now. This is the thing that could push him forward. We can see now with the amount of units out here from Louis, he's definitely going to be able to consistently keep the pushing going. Archers fighting backwards, but keeping in mind, this is now the server that's in Louis' favor. He is the one with less ping here. So these Archer micro is just going to be so much harder.
Yeah, and I think, I'm not exactly sure, actually I didn't check if Beastyqt got the composite bow upgrade. I imagine he got it. So in theory, Beastyqt's Archer should be quite a bit better here, but he just doesn't have that many spearmen to deal with those camel lancers.
It does look like he holds this though, and the trade is looking decent. Well, Beastyqt does push him backwards, but it's not over for him yet. He needs to find a way to transition quickly. And we see now the food per minute is telling us that story. The thing is, Louis is also on a timer. He does still have a little bit of extra food out here. And the deer are mostly untouched because neither of these players have gone pro scouts. So there's still that as an option in the end. Composite bow beats camels.
Louis still has the map control, so he can still afford to go out on the map and get all these resources, whereas Beastyqt is kind of stuck in his base and has to go for farms. Now, as you said, you know, it's Abbasid on Eco Wing, so those farms are definitely way cheaper, and so it's not as bad for him, but yeah, it's still a pretty uncomfortable position for him, I think.
Now, with the amount of archers we see here from Beastyqt, he's still making them, so he believes in this. Getting Goulams between this as well. But the problem is the Manjaniques have joined the fray. And Manjaniques are so tough to handle because they make quick work of buildings. And that's the problem here. Beastyqt does not have a lot of production. He's got a few archer rangers here at the back. He's got another barracks here. But he needs another minute or two to let this food eco kick in. Otherwise, Louis is going to make... melt. These camel lancers trying to make a connection now. The composite bows not able to micro backwards. Beastyqt calls it. Yeah. He realizes that Manjanique is going to be the death of me.
Yeah, another very surgical push from Louis here. And as we said, the classic archer camel Manjanique push is just still so hard to deal with, right?
It feels like it was a little bit tougher here. For Beastyqt, even though he was ahead in villagers, he did lose quite a bit here, but he couldn't get those units out. And with the lack of food on his side, he was just not able to consistently produce what he needed to take him down. So Goulams got denied with the barracks going down. This is looking a little bit tough here for Beastyqt, being down 0-2 now against Louis the Chad. And yeah, Louis again, he's getting everything for free in Castle, getting every relic for free. He's getting the map control. And I just don't know if Abbasid has an answer here to what he has been given up until now.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting to see how fast that eco-wing paid off for Louis in the resource graph there. Because I mean, it's both getting the 3 free villages right away, right? But BC, by going second TC, also has a lot of idle time from those villages that's just needing to build that TC, and that's also a lot of resource that you're not getting. And yeah, in the end, his eco was never able to take over because of all the relics, the sacred sites, the free food. So yeah, really hard game and really surgical game from Louis.
Yeah, Louis has calculated every move very clearly, but we can see there at the top now all the maps that have been completed, and now that I am back here in the lobby, I can finally move around the logo to where I need it to be, and we can see what is next. Now the next map is going to be a little bit better. Oh, I may have clicked the wrong button, but we got a stinger anyway. So we see now the next map is going to be the one, the only, I believe, Holy Island. So I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know if I've ever seen Abbasid on Holy Island. Ayyubids has been seen there in the past. I remember Puppy picking it in Wololo, actually, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Abbasid is kind of an unknown on this map, so we'll have to see how this goes. I would guess I would have to give an edge to Louis here again, because the Civ seems to be better on those maps. But let's see what Beastyqt has in store, right?
I think now the question is, do we have... does Beastyqt have the ability to actually survive this insane economy from Ayyubids? Because the 3 villager lead just up until now has seemed to be quite a thing to deal with. He hasn't been able to do that very easily either. Luckily for Beastyqt, I feel like the fish spawns are pretty even on both sides. Now both of these players definitely not going to sleep on one another. Both of them going for water. They're not going to let the pushing do the talking. But what I really want to see is, does Louis go for Eco Wing to make sure that he gets that villager advantage, make sure that he stays ahead in the wood and wins the water? Or does he go for the military wing to constantly have a camel going towards his opponent's base and forcing his opponent to respond?
Yeah, and I feel there is also the industry wing, I think it's called, the one that gives you a 300 wood for free, which has been seen on this map also, obviously, because getting 300 wood on a water map is a pretty good boost. But on the other side, Beastyqt, I would expect him to go with military wing. There is, there's a build that was pretty good on the hybrid map, especially, which was going military wing and try and get a quick ram going to get the docks right away. So we'll have to see if that's what Beastyqt tries, or because the ram is really expensive, but it's also really hard to deal with because it comes so fast.
And the camel that he gets will not be able to deal with the ram too quickly, especially with the support that goes his way. Military wing definitely seeming like it could be a really good choice for Beastyqt in the current state of things. Now, with the dock here, we are seeing constant production, no slowing down from both of these players, and that's what I absolutely love about water maps. We see constant fishing, and people, they make it clear that it's worth it. But when you get into hybrid maps, there are some instances where people either slow down or they stop producing fishing ships completely, just to ensure that they get that focus onto the land aggression. The double dock now coming from Beastyqt, meaning that he is most likely going to be trying to fight that water fight. But we'll see now what these players decide to go up with, as it is almost time for them to click the button. Now, with the forced drop-off usually here from water, we usually get a pretty quick age up from here on out. Let's go see what Mr. Louis clicks with.
And trade what? Okay.
We're all wrong, guys.
Well, all right. That's this is a wing that, I mean, this wing used to be insanely broken back when the DLC first came out, right? It got nerfed a couple times and kind of forgotten. But if you get lucky with the RNG and you can get those units pretty quick, it's actually still pretty strong, but you kind of need to pray the RNG gods.
Yeah, the RNG gods have been on his side so far with the beautiful open spawns for the man. So he's been using his advantages pretty well. Now the question is just, does it give him units? Because those units are so tough to deal with. And I don't think Beastyqt is even going to try and scout it. That is the problem, because Beastyqt right now, he's focused on getting back to his map, making sure that he brings the sheep, and he can shut down whatever needs to be shut down, and his focus, again, is on the water. We have double dock here from Ayyubids as well. So both of these players definitely going to be doing their water focus, but at the same time, we have this situation that is going completely unscouted.
But if Louis gets the traders, it's going to be very unlucky, because I don't know what you're supposed to do with traders here.
And we'll see, this is going to be popping in a few moments, and we'll finally have our reveal. The scouts facing off, and Beasty now realizing, hey, I should probably go scout and see what this man is cooking. And that's the beauty.
I think he's gonna be surprised when he sees the bazaar wing. He's not expecting this at all.
Now, the moment he sees this, the moment he sees all those on goal, he's like, oh, fast castle. But then he sees the bazaar and he's like, oh, not fast castle. All right, got it. Let's go see what he has been awarded.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. That is very, very unlucky. You got the 3 times trade-off. That is the worst. That is so bad. I guess that might just be GG. I don't know. This is kind of a useless wing now.
This is absolutely crazy. He has done the trade for the wood, as we can see. He's definitely invested quite a bit in over there and getting his first archer in here too, because he knows that this is about to be contested. Now, the problem for Beasty is he does have the military ships, and he is going to be perfectly fine with this bonus that he gets from Abbasid as well, being in his golden age 1 already. But we'll see now what this is actually going to be meaning for Louis. I'm wondering, what is the timer? When does this reset? When do we get our new traders?
I don't exactly know, to be honest. There's you can check just under House of Wisdom under the name there. I think there's there you go. So 2 more minutes. Yeah, I don't know. And the ram is coming, so just what we talked about, right? That super quick ram. And right now he only has archers to deal with the ram. And archers don't really do too well against that. So this is going to be a really tough hold for him.
Now, getting 3 archers, though, is exactly what you need to shut down these units here. But the thing is, that ram's almost done. Ooh. And I feel like he's going to engage. Ooh, the archer being targeted down. He's going to put those guys right inside. And with the ram heading here, he's going to be grabbing the attention of the boats, while at the same time grabbing the attention of the boats. So there's going to be 2 things he needs to focus on, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do so. He is getting his own demolition ship here, which we've seen games being turned around with just 1 demo ship. And the ram is firing away.
Yeah, it's pretty curious to see Beasty go for already 2 demolition ships, which is, I guess, not your usual build. But he gets 1 connection. No kills yet, though, so I don't think this is exactly what... Yeah, this is definitely not what Beasty was hoping for here. But Louis still has no answer for this ram.
His answer seems to be boats at the moment, hoping that he gets those to do enough damage. And they do okay against the ram, but they should be able to take it down only once he gets to the second dock. That stock will be going down, and he has to invest that extra bit of wood into getting another one. Beasty doubling down on the land, and we can see on the water, he's getting that baklach to ensure that he keeps him on his toes. These dhows just floating around the ocean, making sure that this is a pretty hard one to handle. Now with the double springald ship, he's going to be able to force these to move back, but again, look at that. We have another dhow. The dhow, he's got his eyes set on the ram and doesn't take him down. The dhow not going down.
Yeah, I feel like this Louis is dealing with this pretty well. This was probably still worth it from Beasty, but yeah, I think when you go for this build, you kinda hoping to go for a super quick kill and get water dominance right away, and Beasty really didn't get what he wanted. Now, as we can see in the on the military graph, he still has a pretty good. Oh well, I say that Louis pumps out a bunch of units, and now they're getting equal again. But yeah, so we'll have to see if Beasty can try to push with advantage here.
Now the problem is now you're facing a man who doesn't have any galleys, but Louis is doing an amazing job at handling those with his 1 singular dhow. Now the springald ships, they are trying to target fire as much as they can, but keep in mind this is home base. This is where your ships can heal up quite a bit when you're sitting back and letting them. So now with these, Beasty needs to find a way to break through this, and his answer so far looks to be horsemen. Now, with the singular horseman, he is going to be able to put a little bit of land pressure, but Louis is ready for this. He's got a ton of archers in the bank already, and he's gotten some spearmen on his side as well.
And so we saw that Louis had got the wood, right? He had the wood tickets this time. He had 3 tickets of wood and 1 trader again. Yeah, I mean, wood is okay, I guess.
Wood is fine, especially if you're this deep onto the water. We do see him getting health of military ships by 10% as well. That is going to be so valuable in this scenario. But Beasty now is going to see this huge amount of land mass, and the moment he sees this, I have a feeling this is where he realizes, I am not ready.
Yeah.
And I need to double down on the
Needed this.
water. That's exactly what he's trying to do here. He's going to try to get that flank from both sides now. Knowing that there's a lot of units out here on water, he needs to pull back, loses a villager in the fight as well, and he doesn't have anything that can handle this right now. And beautiful connections here from Louis, just showing us exactly what he can do on water. Amazing fighting from Louis.
There was one demo ship that went right through the entire fleet of Beastie there, and actually didn't explode. I feel like that demo ship could have destroyed everything, but it's still looking pretty good for Louis right now. Beastie is he has lost control of land, he's lost control of water right now, it seems, and Louis is looking in a pretty commanding position.
And it looks like Louis is not going to stop at this at all. He's also around the wood line here. He's going to be snacking on a lot of villages once given the opportunity. These villages are migrating, but migrating into the next game. And it looks like this is going to be one of the quickest series of the day. And the funniest thing is I told the players this might be a long series. We might be here for quite a while. So they should be ready to play at like 6:37. But apparently, Ayyubids just makes Abbasid look like we just saw.
Pretty surprising results so far. But yeah, it's what happens when two civilizations that no one has kind of played or trained in a long time get picked, and we get a lot of very surprising matchups, especially on this map, where I don't know if any of these players have played Abbasid Ayyubid on this map before, to be honest.
Yeah, the thing is, even with Louis' bad luck in the trades, he definitely got himself that victory based off of pure micro and overwhelmment. The amazing fact that he could get in with those demolition ships so deep, on the fact that Beastie is playing on a server where the ping is a little bit in his advantage, shows that Louis is doing fantastic. Louis just making it look like Ayyubids was made to counter their mirror civilization. And unfortunately, that will be 0-3 for Mr. Beastie and 3-0 for Louis, if we want to turn it that way.
Very quick 3-0 from Louis. Very quick 3-0. I wonder what Beastie is going to need to go back to the drawing board now, and maybe he's going to whip out the trade wing. Who knows?
The thing is, Beastie needs to find a way to turn this on its head. And I just don't think there is an answer for him in this right now. Now, Puppy and Vortex will be taking place right after this. I hope that we can get... since my poor admin has no electricity, we will have to definitely just ping him to let them know that this might be pretty quick, because this is very unexpected for all of us. Now, I quickly wanted to go back to the bracket, because as you guys have seen here, we've seen a lot of unorthodox civilizations making it here to the top. So now with Puppy Paw going to be playing Order of the Dragon against English for Vortex, I'm expecting Order of the Dragon to take this, but I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to be a 4-0. But Louis and Beastie, they're making it look like it could be.
Yeah, I think in theory OTD should be favored here, right? It's kind of funny because if you had said this like 2 months ago, probably you would have said no way. There's no way English is so favored. OTD is the worst civilization in the game. But yeah, now with the Pro Scout meta, I think that Puppy is pretty happy about this matchup.
Yeah, Puppy should be living his best life here because, ladies and gentlemen, he is about to play. If this doesn't go Beastie's way, and we have Kurlager for our maybe final map. We're at match point, ladies and gentlemen, and Beastie is going to need to make miracles happen right now because this is starting to get quite hairy for him. Both of the players going for their dock, so we'll be seeing a repeat from last game in dock numbers, but most likely going to be seeing the plays happening on land this time. And I think Beastie is going to be quite cognizant of when and where I need to scout.
I wonder, would imagine Beastie would go for the same kind of like the same wing and same strat again. Maybe he won't try the ram this time since it didn't work out, but military wing just makes too much sense on this map, I think. I don't really know why you would go eco wing. Maybe you could try culture wing. He showed us culture wing before, so we'll see.
With Culture Wing, we saw a little bit of a different play, but it also did not go his way. I think he's asking himself, what can I do to this civilization? I don't want to diss the civilization. I want to give Abbasid its chance, but I'm wondering how Beastie feels about the civ right now. Does he feel like, okay, I still got a chance, I can still do this, we're going to get a 4-3, I'm going to bring it back? Or what is the plan? Now, Abbasid might have a little bit of a chance here, I would say, because of the water not being as prominent on this map. You also don't have the usual reliance on winning the little side land, as I would call it. But Abbasid, with their early military wing, they do get a little bit of an edge at the start here. Especially when you start making things very, very quickly. Especially like the ram, you can shut down the dock, and that's already invested quite a bit in here, because the backup dock is just not feasible on this map, because you want to make sure that it's close to the fish, even though there's not a lot of them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping to see the trade wing, to be honest. I'm still kind of stuck on the trade. I want to see Beastie go for trade wing. This is actually a fairly decent trade both here, so, you know, who knows. I feel like you're also kind of a trade enjoyer, you have to say it.
I love myself some trade, don't get me wrong, but in this day and age, on a lake where we might run into a military ship, it could be risky, and I don't feel like Louis is the kind of guy who would just ignore that.
That is true.
Gamba? Maybe?
That is true. I don't know if he's gonna go Gamba again. That last Gamba didn't really pay off, though. He came out with the win, right? But I think when he saw those 3 traded tickets, he was probably not too happy. I think he was like, nah, I'm not doing Gamba again.
Well, if you think about it,
And
he could, yes, Eco Wing.
Yeah,
Eco Wing.
He was like,
The
yeah,
safe one.
I'm not gambling.
Technically, he has used all of his bad luck. So theoretically, it couldn't get any worse, right? This is as bad as it could get. So using it right now would probably be the only chance he has at getting a good trade. But we hope to see that in the future from Louis, getting us a little eco wing. He wants to make sure he solidifies that villager lead and gets ahead economically pretty quickly. We'll see from Beastie now, with the amount of units that he has here on wood, I'm expecting to see another dock. But we'll see. Beastie probably cooking something I just don't know about. Or just getting another ram. Because I know that some players, they don't focus too much on the one side. They try and go to the other one and just solidify that one. Which Louis is kind of doing as well. He's trying to get that secondary pressure on the other side too. So when Beastie does make the ram, he has 2 points he has to decide between. And it doesn't just become a, oh, I can kill it and get rid of his advantage completely.
Yeah, definitely. And so indeed, BC going for the military wing, so he's gonna be looking to put pressure really quick. Let's see if he goes for the ram strat again. It's still a pretty strong strategy that, you know, needs to be answered very quick. So let's see what he tries to do. But right now, it seems like he's just looking to put pressure on the gold.
Exactly. It looks like those boys are rallied. They're going to pop out and they're going to go straight for the base. And that means Louis that invested that little bit of a wood onto the dock here and onto more ships. He's not going to have anything to actually handle this. He's also invested a little bit more into wheelbarrow behind this. So the wood numbers, it's going to take a while to get online because he's just spent a lot of it. Now, he does have a lot of villagers over here on wood. We can see with the amount of them allocated onto wood, he's feeling okay, but this is a lot of units to handle. And I don't know if we're going to have the ability to pretty soon. Archer range gets put down. We know he only needs 3 archers to shut this down, but the gold has been slowed down behind this. And we'll see what Beastie does out of this. He does get a Dow, and now he can rotate either side. So, does he go for the dock?
He's got it down 2 demo ships. 1 demo ship already out, and 1 other demo ship in queue. So, Beastie is just looking to put the pressure right away.
Getting this type of pressure onto a dock is going to be so critical for him. But the problem is, there is another one. So even if he does take these down, it does slow him down. But I feel like maybe the value has already not paid off, but almost paid off in this case. You see the archer ship coming through now as well. This is going to mean that, you know, Beasty might need to get something else to control the water too, but he does have the units here to support him in all of this.
He has two demolition ships. I think he's just gonna chill there and see if there's anything that comes out of the dock before he commits.
Now, with those spearmen, even though they are quite susceptible to this archer ship, they do have fire. And fire is pretty great, apparently just not for itself. So the Dao will get healed as it's standing here, but it doesn't take a lot of damage here from the opposing Dao. And now the fishing ships have joined the party as well.
Yeah, and this is why it's a bit curious to see Beasty go for double demo ship right away. We usually don't see that, so because yeah, he doesn't really have an answer to a simple archer ship, and I think Louis is pretty happy because he's got fishing ship on the other side already. He's 4 eco ahead, so right now Louis looking pretty good, I think.
Now the problem is Beasty did not get any value from this. He didn't get any value from his military wing. He forced his opponent to pull off of gold, but now we can see the barracks here coming for Louis as well. So Louis is just like, I can take this. I'm good. Let's try and fight this. The Springald ship needs to be careful. We've seen what Louis can do on water, but there are 2 explosive Daos on their way to go and teach this Springald ship a lesson. So we'll see if Louis has a way to micro these perfectly, because we've seen him do it before. He does dodge the next one. Beautiful snipe here, and
oh, when the Bagla survives, or yeah, that's the Bagla, right?
yes.
Yeah, Bagla survives. So pretty good micro from Louis here, and I think Beasty again is not too happy with this little fight here.
And Beasty getting his own wheelbarrow now, making sure that these villagers can run just a little bit faster so he can make it back here. But now with the Dao on this side, he is going to try to idle this eco and horsemen to support this as well. But with Louis' big brain, he's already prepared for this and he's made himself a barracks.
Yeah, Louis is looking really crisp in this series. He's just not making any mistake.
And we are seeing Beasty pull back for a second here. He's not too sure about what he's facing. And I think this time he's learned from this. There's now a Springald ship coming. And he's trying to get as much of these fish as he can. We can definitely see that Louis doesn't get to go his normal straightforward playstyle of going for fast castle. And he needs to invest quite a bit on the land. But now Beasty with military wing, you do have that land presence, right? You do get to go for boot camp. When the oh, I say that and he goes for boot camp. Never mind. That was not intentional.
What game sense?
The thing is, he has no infantry. Yeah, basically. But getting boot camp here does not make that much sense to me in this moment, because
it's a bit curious because he's going camel and he's now going camel archers, and he has a horseman. So yeah, the boot camp. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't know. He knows better than me.
Yeah, he knows something we don't, because clearly this has to work. The fact that there are horses here, though, they could deal with the ships pretty well, but now Louis making sure that with his archers, he's going to be able to ram back, which is exactly what Ayyubids play is usually. Now he keeps going for those camel archers, which is so interesting considering bootcamp is not known for its extra bonuses for camels. Maybe
yeah,
he's cooking.
Bootcamp was really surprising. But Beasty, let him cook, as we say, let him cook.
Let him cook. And he's cooking. He cooked himself a ram. The ram is out. The boy's going towards the dock. We only have 2 fishing ships over here, so not the most of an investment. And the problem is, the fish over here at the back, they are running a little bit low. So losing this is also going to be a pretty big dent in the food income. But the explosive Dao coming yet again way too close, and beautiful connection yet again.
Really good connection for both of them. However, Beasty keeps his ship alive while Louis loses his. So nice little trade here for Beasty. Let's see if that ram is able to take down the dock here.
The problem with the horsemen here is it feels like they cannot micro right now, and the explosive Dao almost making that connection, making us very, very scared for the outcome of this. But explosive Dao again making it all the way back and taking a pretty good trade here. But the ship stays alive, and now Beasty is cooking over here on the other side.
Yeah, and right now, as we can see in the destruction value, it's still fairly equal. A small advantage for Louis, but it seems like these players are trading fairly equally right now. Even though destruction value has it's not the most how do you say? Let's say it just doesn't show all of
Representative?
the resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, when we're looking at Louis now, he's making a play for the mid fish because he knows the food has run out on his side as well. He probably needs to make... Oh, never mind. He's still got one of them. Louis is perfectly happy back here. Now, the archers, finally, boot camp will get its role. The archers overextending a little bit here. And the camel archers should be able to micro against these spearmen. But they do need to be careful because +1 is not in just yet. So +1 coming in. This is going to be making sure that those archers don't do as much damage to this big army that's about to collide. Spearmen are at the front now. It needs to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, and Beastyqt has that kind of like that critical mass to one-shot the spear. As I said, I just lose one because I think now you need 5 camels to one-shot a spear. It used to be 4. But yeah, as long as you have that, as long as you can keep that alive, you can deal with the spears. But right now, I don't really know how this is gonna go. I think this is going Louis' way, but as I say that, all the horsemen take down the archers.
Yeah, it feels it goes one way or the other. One moment I'm like, oh, this is going Beastie's way. Oh, this is going Louis' way. But the spearmen do get cleaned up, and now there's no answer for these horsemen. Louis also does have +1, so it does help his case, but you need a lot of archers to deal with these amount of horses. Now, Beastie's dock did get shut down over here, so these guys are going to have to travel all the way back to China to deliver that food. But Beastie is the one pushing now. And keeping in mind that now with Louis being on water, also having to migrate his ships forward, his attention is going to be split. Even though Beastie probably also thinking about attention in all directions. Fishing ships now migrating downwards, he realizes, I need the fish. I need the food eco to keep this push going.
Yeah, this game is just it's just a big back and forth right now. One time Louis pushing, then it's Beastie pushing, then Louis pushing back. And now it's Beastie with the rams and trying to finally get control of that side of the water.
The problem is, one explosive Dow could just turn the game on its head again, and that's just a problem when you get to water. That's why a lot of people are so overwhelmed by the fact that water can swing a game both ways. Now, the explosive Dow coming all the way through. Oh, beautiful, beautiful shot here by Louis. Every single time, he's able to focus fire those perfectly down.
Yeah, Louis' micro on water is just looking on point today.
Louis is looking like he is dominating on water, but now let's see if Beastie is going to be able to shut this down. He's got a lot of horses here. The spearmen coming to the front lines. They do make quick work of a ram, though. But the archers, they are target firing until... Oh, like there is no end here. The spearmen, if you A-move your army, they do usually target the closest unit there, which is the ram. So these guys at the back are just living their best life. And it does give the archers time to focus down the spears, but he does need to be careful. That's still a lot of spears. We've got 11 spears on the side of Louis, and they can destroy these horses if given the chance. Now keep in mind, they do have boot camp, so these will take a little bit more of a punch. And again, it does look like it's going Beastie's way, but at the same time, it feels like it can turn on its head at any moment.
Yeah, Louis is equalizing the archer numbers slowly, but then BC. Yeah, these skirmishes are just so close. It's hard to say who comes out on top until it's actually done.
The problem is that firepower from Beastie with the food has run out completely, and Louis still has his. If we look at the food per minute, it doesn't tell that exact story. Beastie has now migrated onto the rest of the map as well, trying to get as much food as he can, but at the same time, Louis is pushed off of his gold, and he's banking a lot of wood. I don't know if he has a use for it right now, and probably just thinking about making archers, but the bootcamp archers are doing work. They're cleaning up absolutely everything, and the spearmen just aren't in position to do anything about this. 4 of them total as well. Just not looking that healthy. We can see these berries are also going to be pushed off, even though there's just a little bit left. They're still such a valuable resource to lose at this point.
Oh, but that ram is still being annoying there in the back. But yeah, Beastie's military number is still looking pretty good. It's 41 to 31 right now. And He's looking to end this game, it looks to me.
Yeah,
Now,
Beast-
he is getting pretty close to TC fire, and he's got... Now, he doesn't really have any unit that can stand under TC in Feudal, so he has to be a bit careful here. But yeah, military numbers looking good, and he's pushed him out of gold, out of wood. So I'm not exactly sure. Louis is in a pretty precarious position now.
The thing is, Louis just is not allowed to get any breathing room at this point. The moment Beasty removes some of this pressure, he knows he loses this. Because Louis had the water for a little bit longer, he still has a little bit of extra food income over here. And a lot of these fishing ships on Beasty's side already went down. Now, the fact that he still has this pressure on water is so important to be able to keep this game on its head. But now, with the rams at the front of your base, this is definitely going to get quite hard. And we see more and more archers now coming out of Beasty. That boot camp truly paid off. He shows us. He just wanted to bamboozle, make sure that the camels spook him a little bit, and now he's ready to push.
Yeah, and as we know, the archers are one of the best unit to scale in Feudal, right? The bigger the blob, the better it gets. And yeah, this 40 archers now on the field for BC, so this is pretty scary.
And the archers can just stand here as the front line against the other archers because they are so much tankier. Now 40 archers from Beasty, this is going to be quite scary. And now the Golden Age 3 might be interrupted here as well pretty soon. Production speed plus 20, that's going to mean Louis' archers are going to take a longer time to get out of here. But it's not just about the archers right now, it's about the ability to get any form of unit out here on the field, and the production is quite forward.
Yeah, and as chat is pointing out, Louis actually doesn't have range armor from the archers, so Beasty's archers are also doing much more damage than they should, which is pretty surprising. I think maybe just because he got pushed out of gold, but yeah, I would have expected Louis to have the +1 defense here.
Now, Louis has shown us game in game again. He doesn't care too much about the upgrades. He has focused a lot more on getting bigger numbers than having them upgrades, because you know there's a safe gold at the back here that has been completely untouched. More rams joining the fight, and Beasty is ready to close this out. He says, I'm not going down 4-0. Let me show you what I can do. Is this the start of a reverse sweep? But it's not over for him yet. We can see now Beasty's still trying to put a little bit of pressure over here, but at the same time, the amount of archers here at the front of the base, it's pretty scary. And now, battering rams firing at the House of Wisdom. Not something I thought I'd see today. And Beasty aging up behind this, getting the eco wing, meaning he's going to be able to farm transition in no time.
Yeah, I think if Beasty is allowed to get that castle age and upgrade all of his archers, it's gonna be an absolute destruction, because that's 40 plus archers. If they can get composite bows, they're just gonna mow down everything. Because Louis is out of gold and he's not gonna get to castle anytime soon.
It looks like there's going to be no time for Castle Age. Beasty is killing absolutely everything. We can see target firing down the spearmen specifically. Horses just running backwards and forwards. The archers do get the time to fire at them, but because they're so tanky, it doesn't matter. Finally, the House of Wisdom goes down, and Beasty solidifies his spot here. Landmark victory approaching. 1 out of 2. Those rams are just going to look for more victims. Now, keeping in mind, he's lost all the villager gather speed. He's lost his research speed. So even if he had gold, it would be hard. Beasty now getting food at the front of the base here too. Louis knows this is it. He needs to go into the next one.
That was quite a crazy game. Really, lots of back and forth here. It looked like every player was pulling ahead, and then the other one would come back. But yeah, in the end, Beasty with a very, very strong push, and I think here the lack of a blacksmith upgrade really hurt Louis way too much. These archers were just doing way too much damage.
It felt like Louis had a timing there where he could do significant damage to Beasty, but he just wasn't able to capitalize on that. We saw that fight in the middle where things may have gotten a little bit hairy either way. And even though he was ahead in villagers, even though he had the fishing ships, it just wasn't enough against those composite bows. Guys, get your upgrades. Don't forget the composite bows. And Louis now 1-3 in the score. So let's go back into our main screen and wait for the next part of the draft. So,
are we gonna see a patented Beastie reverse sweep?
I hope Louis doesn't go down 4 games in a row. The poor guy, he's shown that he's good and he knows what he's doing. But Shuki, I actually just got word that the next map is already ready and we're gonna go over to Prairie now, guys. So I hope you're ready. We have some Prairie. The thing is, I don't think Louis is gonna give him the time of day to sit and boom on Mr. Prairie, because Prairie, as we know, it is a very open map. And Louis has shown us...
Go ahead.
No, Louis has shown us exactly what he does on open maps. He makes quick work of anyone. Both of them opening with double scout, though. And I don't know if this is telling us what we're going to be foreseeing here, just professional scouts, or we're just trying to get all the sheep on the map, or what these two players are cooking, but we have begun.
Yeah, double scout is pretty standard on this map. There's just so many sheep that you're kind of looking for a way to go ahead. And there was a small buff to scouts in the last patch, right? They're a bit cheaper and a bit faster to produce. So not too surprising to see both of them going double scout here. But yeah, as you said earlier, to be honest, I can't really think of a worse civ to play on Prairie than Abbasid. I just don't know what you're supposed to do here. For Louis, I don't, Ayyubid probably doesn't feel too great either, but at the same time, it's a civ that's pretty happy to go fast castle and pump camel lances. So I would imagine that has to be roughly the plan for him, either camel lancers or desert traders. But yeah, here Beastie, he kind of has to cook, and let's see what he has in store.
Now, what we're seeing here is, we're gonna go look at those sheep. 23 plus 2, of course. Let's go see the other side. 24, so pretty even for both of them. So, definitely not a surprise, considering that both of them went for double scout, and now they know where to go. Let's really see the map exploration here. Louis trying to get a little bit of a clean up on the rest of it. And on Beastie's side, he's also scouted most of it. He doesn't feel like he needs to get to the back of his base. He knows there's an opposing scout who probably went there and cleaned it up.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good to see a pretty equal sheep count, because you don't want games to be decided by the sheep RNG, right? And so both of them getting roughly the same amount of sheep means they're gonna get a fighting chance in this game.
So with Beastie now getting to that full amount of resources point, we're going to be seeing how these are different. Military wing, he realizes, works. When you're dealing against a man who loves to go fast castle, you need to put that early pressure. We haven't seen Louis click it up just yet, and we get eco wing. As simple as always. Now, with Louis only having 2 on gold, though, I'm wondering, is this just going to be a feudal all-in again? Is he ready to face the Abbasids head-on? Again, from what he did last game?
See, I would not expect it, to be honest. I mean, Louis has played, I think on all of the land maps that we've seen from him lately, they were all fast castle, pretty much. He made sometimes a bit of units in feudal just to be able to defend. But I think he's probably just looking to answer the military wing, and then I would guess go castle.
Now we'll see what Louis does this time. Last time he upgraded, got a lot of upgrades. And that delayed these units he was able to put out and delayed him being able to deal with the aggression. So if he was able to do that, it would definitely... He would learn from it. He's not going to go sit back and let the scouts do the talking. But we also see 2 from Beastie here. And I feel like this is something a lot of us just don't know about. We don't know what the right move is. We don't know what the amount of on gold you leave, but both of these players going to be playing the feudal game. We see more villagers being pulled onto wood here. So this is going to be another feudal pushing game. You can see now the scouts also having their eyes onto the gold. So these lads and laddesses are going to have an eye, a very, very close eye on them.
And what wing did Louis go with, actually?
Eco, like every single time.
Eco again. Okay, so he really believed in his ecoing. I mean, ecoing is just really strong, right? And I would expect him to now answer with archers as he sees the military wing walking across the map, so he knows exactly what he has to do.
Yeah, with what we see there in terms of the wood that Louis is floating, we know that this man might be getting ready for, you know, for making production buildings. Something he was not able to do the previous time instantly, and he gets both of them. Archer range and a stable. Now, this is going to mean that his units are a little bit delayed in terms of getting 3 archers instantly at the same time, but he will get those out pretty quickly. So
wait, we've got a beefy tower rush there. I did not see that. The military tower rush. I've played that a bit. I think I played that versus you actually.
When I was tower rushing on every civilization.
Yeah, that's not true. Okay, maybe a bit. But yeah, no, it's a pretty fun play, so good to see Beastyqt just trying stuff here. I think he just doesn't want Louis to get a free Castle Age, and I don't know if Louis was expecting this at all.
So with this tower rush, you're now forcing your opponent to either go out on the map or just stop getting all the free upgrades, and he gets his wheelbarrow, luckily for him. But now he also has to make these units on both sides. You can see now 2 archers, another one not being queued up just yet. He's getting some extra horses, but Beastyqt foresees the horses and gets himself a camel archer as well. Now this tower does control quite a bit of it, and we can see these villagers are being sent over to the berries so that they can go and not be useless. But the horses at the back of the base, they need to be careful here. Or the villagers need to be careful.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think on this map the resources spawn a bit closer to your TC in general. I think so. It's hard to actually get some raiding early on. As the wood line dries up, though, obviously this map becomes way more open, and raiding becomes really important.
Now, what Beastyqt can do here is he can keep this pressure going. He's denied the gold. He can keep an eye on the rest of the golds as well. But he needs to be careful not to lose this mass already. So with Abbasid, I feel like the Abbasid military wing definitely gives you that advantage in terms of your units being a little bit chunkier once you get the boot camp. But you're still playing against a guy who has 3 extra villages pretty early on in the game. And that does bode very well for Louis. So until Beastyqt gets that critical mass of archers we saw last game, this is going to be quite tough for him to easily take away. So Beastyqt needs to be able to focus fire these really well. Now, keeping in mind he is now again on his server, so he does have about 40 ping less than Louis right now, and that should help him in target firing these spearmen, something we could have seen a little bit better from him the previous game.
Yeah, and looking at Beastyqt's macro here, he's got 16 on wood, 16 on food, 5 on wood, and 5 on gold. So it looks to me like he's probably not planning to stay in feudal too long. But he's still making a bit of units. He still has a camel in the queue there. But I think he's just planning to go Castle Age, and Louis just shuffled his villagers too, so I'm not exactly sure what he has in store here.
Oh, with Louis getting that many villagers, it might just be because he's slowly moving them towards the gold. As we see, Louis is not a guy who does things unintentionally. So Louis moving these guys over here onto the wood is because he's just going for his gold right after. He doesn't want to let them run and not do anything. Beastyqt going up to castle now.
Beastyqt definitely going up to castle again. He took everything out of wood. And Louis just looking to be annoying.
And Louis is doing a great job at being annoying right now. He's delaying Beastyqt's Castle Age. He's going to probably be able to get a villager here as well. Not today, actually. I cursed him, so sorry about that, Louis. That one's on me. But these guys are just going to constantly provide that harassment, and the villagers need to be careful. He does get one, and this does delay Beastyqt significantly, because he would have been able to click up already now. And he's just had to constantly deal with this type of pressure. The problem about this is not just the normal pressure that you give, it's also the fact that you're delaying upgrades, and it just doesn't become as easy as you need it to be. Now, is this going to be an economic wing or a culture wing? I would say probably an eco wing, because you want to be able... Oh my goodness, I was wrong. Culture wing it... Oh, no, I was not. No, I was not. Thank goodness.
Yeah,
Beastie
culture,
though.
pretty strange choice, but why not?
So the reason with Culture Wing is because your technology and age advancements will be cheaper. So for Imperial, it will be a little bit cheaper to age up, but I don't feel like this game is going to Imperial. And you get medical centers, which I absolutely love if you build keeps all over the map, but probably also not something we will be seeing this game. But with Eco Wing, you're just allowing yourself to get better farms, faster farming gather rates. You're gonna get yourself nice cheap farms. You want to make sure that your eco is staying ahead, especially on an open map like this where the wood is already so scarce.
Oh, and Beastie with a pretty nice raid here. Looks like oh no, he only gets an archer. So for now, Louis is okay. And what wing did Louis actually click?
Ooh, going for the culture wing. He's getting himself
The
some
dervish again.
dervishes.
Okay, so he's definitely a dervish enjoyer today. Pretty interesting because yesterday he threw a lot of different looks, and today it's just being a lot of eco wing and dervish.
So with this situation now, we know that Beastie hitting his eco wing a little bit earlier. He's most likely going to be the one who gets the units that Louis needs to respond to. So now instantly he has a lot on gold. So he wants to make sure he gets this and he gets it quickly. With the amount of gold he has here, see, this would be the crazy part. He has the amount of resources to kind of look towards Imperial, but luckily he's not a sneaky boy like that. He is a man who makes a lot of units, and he's gonna go keep pumping. Now, he doesn't have boot camp just yet. We'll see if he gets any of these upgrades. Instantly clicks up Fertile Crescent, and for this time, we won't be seeing a second TC, but we might be seeing a little bit of an earlier transition into farms, but for now, it'll simply be used for some buildings. So, with the amount of units that Louis has, Beastie has to be careful. Camel Lance is coming out for Louis, and crossbows instantly being queued up here from Beastie. Now, with Beastie going for lances as well, he needs to find damage, because again, Louis was ahead economically for a very long time. So it's time to catch up.
Yeah, definitely. And with those 3 free dervish, I think Louis should have no problem getting at least 3 relics. So yeah, Beastie has to be very careful here, because I feel like if Louis was allowed to get 4 relics, this game could start to get a bit out of control.
And that's the problem here with the dervishes. You're definitely getting into a position here where you are ahead and you dictate which relics are yours. So he instantly goes for a relic on the side of Beastie's map because he's like, oh, you're probably not going to be able to contest this. But Beastie knows that. He's kept an eye on us and he's left this one for safety. Knowing that the dervish isn't on the safe one, he's most likely going to be able to pick up this one. But the dervishes, they run at the speed of light. So he does drop it quite close to the base. And it won't be easy for Beastie to yoink this one either.
Yeah, definitely. And there was a villager there. I'm not sure what happened to it.
They left? I think they made it back.
Seem like okay, because it was still alive when the dervish walked by, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so okay, Beastie managed to save that villager. I would have thought that Louis would have gone straight for it, but a nice reaction from Beastie there. And yeah, this is when this map gets really hard to play, right? You're playing for the relic to the left, to the right, and everything's open. There's basically no walls anywhere. There's a lot of cavalry on the field, so this is when your APM and your map awareness really shines.
The problem is, Beastie is now investing in a lot of Lancers, and we saw what not getting direct counters can do to a player here. Beastie looking like he's going for a second TC as well. They're probably just going to try and solidify a little bit of a base, so it doesn't just get slid into the whole time. But it's still going to be a very risky move. This is a very open map, it's very easy to raid, and it doesn't look like Beastie is using those lances to raid as you usually do, but now with a very chunky amount of units running around, you should be able to do that. The ram is going towards this, but it will get picked up, and that's a very nice 200 wood in the bank.
Yeah, it's a scouting ram.
Oh, never mind, he
Classic
lives.
move.
He lives.
Yeah, and I think that's still the early ram from the very beginning of the game, right?
Mm-hmm. So now Beastie does know this is happening. He does know that, hey, you are hungry, which means your sheep most likely ran out. And Beastie on the other hand, he went for the Eco Wing, so he is just going to sit back and start to do that farm transition. Gotten that second TC over here onto a wood line on top of deer as well, so this does allow him a little bit more freedom, but we see the boys who are ready to charge, and we saw what Louis did before. There's nothing suggesting he won't do it again.
Yeah, definitely, and we can see Louis actually securing 4 relics right now. He has 3 already in the bank, and 1 is on the way. And I feel that means it's going to be Beastie's time to make something happen.
Now the spearmen here, direct counter to these horses, but there's not a lot of them, so Beastie does not want to risk losing any of these units, and we have to keep in mind there are some shenanigans happening over here too. Oh, he takes the fight though. Yeah. He realizes the rest of the units are not there to back them up, and then spearmen get a lot less scary in that scenario. But Beastie's relic pickup does get shut down, and sacred site pickups also get shut down. But look at these 2 sacred sites right on top of each other. That's interesting. That's a little bit of a busted spawn. Any delis?
Yeah, just 1 keep there could help protect the sacred site, so we could maybe see an attempt at a sacred site victory at some point. Beastie does have 2 TC, right? So if this game stalls for long enough, he's gonna pull ahead. But yeah, the relic situation right now is not looking too good for him.
Now with the relics, you know you're playing a little bit of a disadvantage, and he knew that he wasn't going to be able to get this, so you do need to find a way to get ahead, and the way to do that is 2TC. But as we can see now, open map, big problems, and that's exactly what's happening right now. As we can see, the villagers are just being chased down. We have lancers trying to protect the base, but they are taking a while to get here, and it's just idle time after idle time after idle time. And now Beastie has a very chunky army, but if he loses this, it's going to be so hard for him to come back. He doesn't mind engaging on top of a bunch of these though. He says, you archers are going to go down pretty quickly. Now, they do take a few victims alongside because those are crossbows, and they deal pretty well with these lancers charging at them. So not the best trade here for Beastie, and he needs to find a way to delay this game as long as possible so that he can try and get ahead with that second TC.
Yeah, I wonder if Louis is actually aware that Beastie went for the second TC. I would imagine so, right? These players are not me, and they know how to scout, and they can look at the minimap. But yeah, right now the military numbers are still very much favoring Louis, but he still has to answer to these raids.
And Beastie is trying to do exactly the same as what Louis did to him, trying to get in. Except Louis is now investing in walls, and we can see walls keep the units out. They do a pretty decent job at that. We can see the Lancers trying to find an easy way out of here, trying to see what they can alongside with Beastie. He's going full 10 for 10 and not making a single wall this game. Trying to use the wood for farms instead, which probably does do pretty well when you're trying to get a lot of units. Now, a few houses here being popped down from Beastie. He realizes I'm gonna have a lot of pop here soon. I have a lot of food going. Look at all my crossbows. I'm perfectly happy with this. But Louis again, with the double group of raids that he's been doing consistently. I say double, but there's a triple happening at the same time. So as Beastie reacts to one, he's gonna quickly realize he needs to react to 2 more.
Yeah, definitely, and Louis is looking like he's trying to get an engage going. He has a couple of rams there, and he seems to be heading towards that TC. Oh, and the Manjaniques are coming, and we know what the Manjaniques can do. Beastie has a pretty scary mass of crossbows, right? 26, but Louis also has 20, and he's been making horsemen, which are gonna do okay against those crossbows. But that's a very good raid from Beastie there. And I don't know if Louis has actually seen it. He's reacting now. He's moving away.
Now, with the Lancers, they do get a few. But again, Louis is on 5 or 4 relics. He's living his best life right now. Beastie trying to spend every bit of resources that he has in here. So we'll see if the man is going to be able to counter this push. Because now with 2 mangonels, and the unit composition he has, he's going to struggle getting on top of that back line. Especially considering that Louis has the spearmen to protect them and the crossbows alongside that as well.
Yeah, and Beastie's making Gulam where Louis already has 21 crossbows here. Yeah, I think right now this this engagement is gonna be pretty hard to hold against for Beastie because that Louis' army is looking very strong.
And Beastie has not been able to spend every bit of resource that he has. We can see he's floating about 1.5k right now. Oh, 2k. And this is going to be harder and harder as time goes on. He's trying to pull back just to make as many golems as possible. We see those barracks, they seem quite new here as well. The villagers have been pulled to try and burn down the rams. They will probably be diverted here, but he needs to be careful. Those mangonels can end the game in a second. And beautiful hit there by Louis. He gets quite a bit of crossbows in the fire there, and he needs to be careful for the next one. The next one also getting a pretty decent hit, but the golems now increasing in numbers, but the villagers are being sacrificed. The mangonels do go down, but the villagers at what cost? We see 19 to 20 plus kills of villagers right now.
That's a lot of kill from Louis here, and he's still pushing forward. So as we said, that army is pretty strong, and Beastie just does not really have an answer for that composition right now.
The thing is,
so he is pushing back. The defender's advantage is helping him here.
Beastie will be able to clean this up for now, but now the villager lead is again on Louis' side. Considering that Louis, though, does not have a farm transition, I don't think this is over for Beastie. The problem is this. This is continually happening. Beastie's getting that idle time. Now getting a little bit of a spearman upgrade as well. He realizes this might actually help me too. The Gulam's definitely turning the game, but this is going to signal to his opponent that he needs to get some crossbows in here as well. Beastie getting a little bit more of the upgrades and going to catch up in villages in no time, but he needs to think about how am I going to, firstly, get control of this. Because right now, Louis, he's okay. He needs to find another food source right now. The problem is the deer also running a little bit low. He can potentially go out all the way here because it doesn't look like Beastie is going to be able to move out of his base anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, Louis has 4 relics, 3 sacred sites. As he's trying to decap this one, but it looks like Louis should get there on time, maybe. Oh no, he's not. But yeah, that's still a lot of additional income, and he's 6 villagers ahead. And as we saw, he just dropped a second TC there. So that villager lead from Beastie is actually not going to grow anymore.
So that second TC from Ayyubids allows them to stay up to date in the game, and it does allow for him to actually get a little bit of control here. Again, the villagers don't have text. Oh, they got textiles recently. Very well done on them. Because I was a little bit worried for their health for a while there. Those guys were very untextiled for a bit. And Beastie, though, he's cleaning this up. A little bit of an overextension here from Louis.
Yeah, really nice surround from Beastie. He's looking to get a pretty good engage here, and he should be able to take this army.
Now the crossbows are doing good at dealing with this. The thing is, Louis is responding quite well. Oh, and he's found a food source. And again, when you are low on food, this is such a good raid. With Beastie's complete farm transition, he doesn't mind losing units. He's going to be able to replenish them, but he knows it's all temporary for Louis. Now, Louis, he stopped making units here for a moment now. Never mind, he says, never mind, I'm producing again. Don't you guys worry. The wall is getting finished here from Beastie. He's realized, okay, walls might be pretty good at this point of the game, and does try to decap over here as well. Now, with Beastie's mass, we do have an ability to counter this, though, from Louis' side. Louis knows that the counter here could be Manganiques. Just a lot of Manganiques, a lot of horsemen, and that's exactly what he's investing to. Beastie, though, doubles down on the crossbows. He believes in them. And if we look at the resources now here, Beastie is just letting that sacred site do the work, and a handful of villagers on the gold as well. Not the sacred site,
I imagine he just shifted. I imagine he just shifted villagers there because making so many crossbows is super heavy on the gold. So I'm kind of surprised he doesn't have more, but maybe he's looking to shift away from making crossbows. I mean, he has 44. At some point, you kind of want to stop, right? I don't really know if you want to go to 80 crossbows, but yeah, that's still a very, very strong army now for Beastie. He took a really good engage and kind of flipped the game on its head again. And now he's the one putting the pressure.
The one thing I wanted to note is the fact that last game we saw a lot of composite archers. This time, no more composition coming in here. These are just crossbows, and it's just probably because of the fact that we don't have a lot of wood on this map. Map very, very dry when it comes to wood. So he definitely does not be wanting, he doesn't want to invest too much into composition that will be so expensive to keep up. Now, a ram coming out from Beasty as well. This could be a sneaky ram to get rid of a tower or two and shut down these food sources that he's been fighting to deny. Now, farms coming out from Louis. He has finally gotten the wood to start this, and now it starts to look better for Louis. The moment these guys are online, this is probably going to be his weakest point in the game. If he doesn't take any eco damage from here on out, he's not going to get weaker than he is right now. This is the perfect setup for him to get to the late game. So Beasty now needs to find some damage, otherwise Louis is just going to run away with him.
Yeah, definitely, but Beasty's military numbers are still looking really, really good right now. He's at 94 to 55, with a 25 pop ahead. So yeah, this is going to be a scary push again.
Now, what I love to see here is just, it's a ton of spearmen as the front line, and I don't think I've ever seen something that spear heavy to try and lead us into victory. Now, with the 3 Manjanixi on Louis' side, he's definitely going to be able to take quite a bit on. And Louis is, like I said, this is his weakest point. We can now see the food per minute is going to skyrocket as time goes on. But now, you can see here, Beasty realizes I need to find where the resources are. And where are the resources? Most likely on the other side of the base. So Beasty now moving over to the side, probably going to try and do a little bit of a push here. And if he does, he's going to idle this whole economy. And that is going to be so invaluable to him. But at the same time, he needs to be careful for the raids in his base, as Louis has done that numerous times. The thing is, I think Beasty is just trying to overwhelm his opponent here and not letting him get into the back of his base.
Yeah, this engagement is gonna be really, really key. If Beasty can manage to wipe the army and idle the eco, the game should be over. But there's 3 Manjaniques, which are gonna do some work against this massive crossbows. There's also 36 spears, so that's also quite hard to deal with.
Yeah, the problem for Louis is he's got a lot of archers, but in those amounts of spears, it does become a little bit difficult. With those spears, he's going to be able to deal with the horsemen pretty well too, but the archers, spears are just frontlining right now, and it looks like these crossbows are cleaning them up perfectly fine. On the other side, though, Beasty is splitting this up and he's attacking from 2 sides. He's taking a note from Louis' playbook, and he is just doing what Louis does best. Attack from multiple fronts. And this is a very scary army to have to deal with. So even if he loses every single one of these crossbows, he's done the damage. Even though Louis does have his farm transition now, it looks to be going pretty well here for Beasty.
Yeah, pretty good. He still has a very strong military lead here. And he looks like he might do quite a lot of damage. Still, Louis reacts on time. I think it's still if I'm Beasty, I wouldn't want to lose this crossbow mask, because that was really, really expensive to make, and something you want to be careful about. But he looks like he's just gonna try and trade that army for eco, and he's doing quite a lot of damage. He has 32 villager kills. I think he just killed like 20, almost 30 villagers in this push.
Now this push was definitely very critical for him. He knew that he was going to lose these units anyway. And how can you get the most value out of them? You pull your opponent's army to the back, and make sure that they're stuck there at the back. They cannot move anywhere. And then you just attack everything else. And that's exactly what BC is doing now. That 2 TC from Louis, very important to stay in this game, but he might not be in this game for very long, because with this push, he's idling a little bit of the eco. This is a very minuscule part of the farming situation, but it's a lot of where your villagers were feeling quite safe, and other resources are going to slowly start running out too. With this type of control, you can now think about, hey, how am I going to close this out? But Beasty's army numbers, they are dwindling. He did sacrifice quite a lot in here.
Yeah, but he got 55 villager kills. I think he probably killed 50 villagers in this push, or close to it. Right now he is like, what, 34 villagers, 35 villagers ahead. So that's a very, very commanding lead there. And even with the relics, his eco should now be much, much better than Louis'.
And with him pulling Louis' army all the way to this side, he's sending his army all the way to the other side, yet again, to do an exact repeat of what happened last time. To make sure that he goes in and he raids things that aren't ready to be raided. So we see a lot of army being rallied here, and as they're moving in on the one side, the other side engages as well. These boys looking for another bunch of villages that they can be snacking on, and there's a lot to snack on running away.
Yeah, I know I would be fuming if I was Louis right now. This is looking so annoying to deal with, just having to run left, run right, run left, run right. But yeah, this is what Beastyqt is known for. He's really good in the late game, and he knows how to keep pushing and be present everywhere on the map, right?
The problem is, when you get to this point of the game, I feel like you have a hole in your wall and you try to repair it, there's always going to be units standing there ready to kill you. So you do need to invest quite a chunk of your army to actually escort them to do it. And we can see he uses a ton of villagers to try and get this wall up. And that shows you exactly how can we say that? How intensive it is to play against Beastyqt, because Beastyqt will just switch from the one side to the other so quickly. Apparently my English disappeared there mid-sentence. Apologies, guys. It happens sometimes. But these archers doing a decent job at dealing with these guys, but they are waiting for their support, and their support, they're also just not cleaning up too well. While this is happening, Beastyqt is just making another set of units, running right into every single hole he finds, and if he doesn't find a hole, he will make one. Louis has had enough. And we're back to 4-2.
Yeah, really good game from Beastyqt. It looked very dicey there for a bit when Louis pushed his second TC, but he managed to hold, even sacrificing a lot of villages. And then it looks like the ecoing and the quicker farm transition just allowed him to keep pushing units and get a really nice timing.
So with the unit count, we can see this was a up and down situation here for both of these guys. The villagers, though, the second TC coming in really strong for Beastyqt. Even though he took a lot of damage, he knew how he had to capitalize on it. And getting that farm transition so early is so important for the Abbasid player. And it's their one strength, I think, in the current meta. And I forgot to switch the scene. So guys, we're looking at my game. Very professional, very nice. Let's go look at the screen again.
It's all Cal's fault, we know it.
Oh, where's Cal when we need him? So guys, the screen will be updated pretty soon. Beastyqt and Louis are both still in select. I see them in lobby right now. So we're just going to be looking at ourselves, looking at our screen, thinking about how beautifully these games have been played. Wonderful. And I just wanted to take a moment here to say thank you to everyone who has supported One Trick Pony. We wanted to make it a 1 weekend only in and out event, and we will be doing these consistently going forward. Now, for those of you who have supported the channel, and for those of you who want to keep doing that, we do have a coffee link, but you can do directly through PayPal or just subscribe. We appreciate every single person. And if you can't, just follow. It is what it is. And just wanted to shout out again, $120 donation that came out yesterday. You guys are the people who keep these going. And now that we are back in Serbia, we'll definitely be doing more of these. So for those of you who don't know, this channel is run by mostly me, but it's like me and Beasty's brain baby that we will be using to consistently run events when these EGC events aren't happening. So next weekend, we have another event. It hasn't been fully announced yet. It'll probably be finalized on Monday, where we're going to be doing ladder-only maps. So the ladder-only maps is going to be so brutal, because when you're doing ladder-only maps, these maps don't spawn all that well all the time. Sometimes they are a little bit wonky, but that's what Relic gave us, and that's what we as viewers want to see, so we can learn how to play on these maps. It is going to be a 1v1 event all the way, and that's the way that we're going to be doing them. Just a lot of ladder maps, a lot of civilizations, not just one civilization. The One Trick Pony is only one trick for 1 week. That's it. And thank you very much to Theoray for making our wonderful logo. She's painted this with the blood in her hands and made it absolutely beautiful. So I definitely jinxed it, Camian. I can see in Twitch chat calling me out there. Yes, I did jinx it. I did.
Yeah, it looked for a bit like we might have had a quick series, but Beastie, as we know, he's just not so easy to kill. He doesn't go down so easily, and let's see if he can actually finish the comeback and make it 3-3.
Now, I do see that they are in game, and I don't know if they've forgotten to turn on observe, and I feel like this is now the wonderful part where oh, never mind, I can observe Louis. I was going to say, yesterday we had this instance, and I was just thinking to myself, it would be so nice if I could just walk in behind and be like, hey, you forgot to turn on observer.
Well, that's a good part of it. You can just walk over, right? You
Exactly.
don't have to DM anyone.
Makes it nice and easy. But guys, we are ready for the next one. Currently, our score is showing 3-3, but I believe we should be showing 3-2. I think we may have had a little button misclick in the... There we go. Live fixing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for the next map. And can you believe it? It's going to be Ayyubids versus Abbasid. Wow.
No way, I can't believe it. I can't believe it, especially on this map. Wow. It's, crazy these players
crazy picks, right? But I feel like this is the right type of map for Beastyqt to be able to use that military wing that he saw has been working. So I see there in the chat us being called out. EGC always announces events months in advance. Age of RTS is like, next event is next weekend. Yeah, we were a little bit behind on things. So for reference, I was in Norway for a little while. I was meeting there with Cal and a few of my friends, and we had a little ski trip. And before that, I was in South Africa. And the reason Cal and I were meeting is because we have a big surprise coming up for you guys. It's not that much of a surprise. Most people already know. But it will be announced at the Garrison, which is a LAN event taking place in 3 weeks. So just so you're aware, we have been cooking, and there's a reason we haven't been announcing things in advance, because there's so many other things happening at the moment. But yeah, we do have to work on our announcements. I remember at the end of last year when we were doing the coaching tournament by SteelSeries, we announced that we got word that we had approval for 10K on the Tuesday. And they were like, make it happen this weekend. And we made it happen that weekend, which was absolutely insane to get everything done in such a short period of time.
Yeah, you need to keep the scene on its toes, you know? No one really knows. They think they're going to get a free weekend where nothing happening, and then boom, 10K tournament.
And that's what I want you guys to be able to come to. Every weekend, I want you to be able to log in to Twitch and be like, hey dudes, what's going on? And there's always something going on. It being Rising Empires, Age of RTS, or even EGC. I mean, you're saying them ironically at the last because they're usually the biggest one. But yes, Beastyqt going for military wing. What a surprise. It's been working for him.
Way. And is Louis going to go for Eco Wing?
Wow.
And he goes for Eco Wing.
Wow.
Damn. Okay.
Who would have expected that? Louis the Goat. He says, bah, back to Eco Wing. Aha.
Now let's see if someone tries Pro Scout. Beastyqt tried Pro Scout earlier, and it didn't really go that well for him. So I don't know if he wants to try again, or if he's gonna go with the same kind of like the same direction he went to on Prairie and just do the same thing, because that kind of seemed to work out.
Now, when you're in a situation like this game, you want to make sure that you are aggressive. This is the whole point with this map. It's supposed to not delay games. And Louis, having only 200 gold again, we can see he's prepared for this. He knows this is going to be a feudal game. He knows he's going to be playing against military wing, even though the scout hasn't seen it yet. He knows this is the safe bet to follow.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what's Louis' plan, because I think Louis now has to be, you know, when you go up 3-0 and then the opponent starts coming back like this, it's kind of hard on your mental, and I'm wondering if he's gonna try something new here, maybe be a bit more aggressive in feudal. we'll see what happens. This is a map that's usually pretty aggro, so we'll see how these players decide to play it.
Now we can see, based on the spawn, exactly where the aggression will take place. With the Abbasid going for military wing, you have your units that can easily come here to force some aggression. And Louis knows this. He realizes it's either going to be one side or the other, so I'm just going to stop them coming from either. But he re-rallies those three, or not re-rallies, he rallies those 3 villages on there and tries to get them on gold, which means we're going to be getting a very, very sneaky and very surprising try at Castle Age, maybe. I don't know. Or just a lot of upgrades. The man is cooking. But this also secures him the opportunity to make a decision. This can be a responsible castle. This can be an aggressive feudal because you have enough gold to be able to sustain against this.
Yeah, this is a nice tower because it's also going to protect the wood line in some way. You can just shuffle these villagers around a bit. And then we see Beasty actually queuing a pro scout. So even though he did lose the game where he went pro scout the first time, he's just like, I'm going to do it again. And on this map, it's, you know, those deer are just very, very open. So it should be pretty good for him.
Now with these guys, we can see they were left idle a little bit here because they ran into nothingness. And that's kind of the pressure you get with putting a tower and just making 3 archers against this. This used to be the very, very easy counter to it. And that's also why it does delay most civilizations, because it forces them to make an archery range and respond.
Yeah, definitely. And which has, you know, in turn made the kind of like the alternative military wing build where you follow up the military wing with a quick horseman, and you actually get the 1-1. You know, you have that 1-1-1 composition right away, and it's really, really hard to deal with actually.
So with these guys now, we are definitely going to be seeing them pull back. You can't run your boys into them, but the horseman in the composition is going to be dealing with these archers pretty well. So he is trying to find some damage, but Louis is already thinking about the next stage. There's no time for damage, he says. The problem is he's going to run out of food. Louis is not in the situation he usually is. So basically, what we're going to be seeing here is a Louis going for castle, but we're not going to be seeing a very fed Louis. It's only going to be a pretty strong push, but it will slow down pretty quickly. So we see Beasty also having quite a bit of villagers over here on food. This does look like he has Castle Age in mind, but as I like to call it, a responsible castle, just making sure that he has enough units to support him in this journey.
Yeah, Louis, this is looking pretty precarious for Louis, because by the time he gets castle, he's gonna pretty much be running out of food. And I'm not exactly sure what he's going to do about it, because Beasty is just happily taking all the deer on the map right now.
And these guys coming in hot, they have their blades out ready to roll. Gonna be slicing as they run in closer. The boys are chomping, feet stomping, and looking straight at Beasty's base. But Beasty, he's going for survival techniques. Just to support him in this food economy.
You kind of need to go for survival. Yeah, you kind of need to go with for survival techniques when you go pro scout. Even though I forget it like half the time, pretty much. But yeah, that's why I'm casting and they're playing.
Now, getting the dervishes, not a big surprise here for us whatsoever. We know that he's been going dervishes every single game. You can use it to heal your units. You get the 3 free relics. And it does put you in a very commanding position when it comes to forcing your opponent to force their army out of their base. So Beasty now going for the eco wing, meaning he's going to have those cheaper buildings. He's going to have cheaper farms. But it's not the same as it was last game, because here Louis is very aggressive himself. Now we'll see if Louis instantly goes. He does go for the Camel Lancer play. We can see with the stables being dropped down, double stable at that, he wants Camel Lancers. The problem is just, there's no more food. This guy's hungry as hell, and he might not realize how hungry he is just yet.
Yeah, he can defend this, the southern deer there pretty well. With just having a small wall, he should be able to access it and have a bit more food. But Beasty has already snacked on it a bit, I think, because there's only 5 deer there. It should be 7.
And with these archers target firing, he's doing okay. The trades are looking decent for Beasty. The aggression is looking very strong here because these horsemen, they go through these archers pretty quickly. They are a little bit demotivated here by the camel unease, but they are doing pretty well right now. They're catching up to the scout. The scout might not make it out here alive, but Louis is careful, and it looks like he is going to be a little bit responsible in all of this. Let's go see those camel lancers getting queued up. Are we coming, boys? Yes, we are. Double camel lancer in queue right now.
Yeah, definitely, and that's going to be key, right? Because he really needs to capture, like, get map control right back, because he's running out of food very, very quickly, and if he can't get map control, he is gonna be starving. So what happens in the next minute or two is gonna be very key to him being able to have a fighting chance in this game.
Now, what I'm seeing here from my side is just... This feels like another repeat of the last game. Beasty knows when to pull back, Beasty knows when to react, and it's looking pretty stable here. So, he's trying to stop these relics, the relic not being pulled back to the base just yet. Now, finding his feet, moving slowly. It does feel like they move a little bit slower when most of your units are horses, but it is still forcing his opponent to go out. Now, these guys, they are the ones we need to be worrying about. And BC knows what's good for him, because he knows that those guys are going to be able to break villages and most units in half.
Yeah, and that's already 2 relics on the way. The third one was captured there, but Beasty with his game sense, knowing where to look for and not letting get the relic so easily. So yeah, right now Louis is struggling a bit to get that advantage from the dervish, and Beasty is just putting the pressure right back.
Yeah, for once, Beasty doesn't look like he's just sitting on the back foot waiting for Abbasid to get fixed in the late game. It looks like he's just going to put that pressure that he's needed from the get-go.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, this is actually looking pretty good for Beasty, because he's not giving up map control, and as we said, now Louis has to move away. He's going on the berries there, north of his base, and it's fairly open for harass, and Beasty even manages to get that relic back, which is really, really good for him. So it looks like Beasty should be able to get 2 relics, and I mean 3 for Louis, which I think Beasty is probably quite happy about, considering Louis went for Dervish in a fast castle. I think this is a pretty good situation, and actually better than the last game, which Beasty even managed to win. So yeah, pretty good mid game here for Beasty.
It does feel like Beasty is probably gonna be aggressive now, knowing that he's got that gold on his side instead, because as we saw the previous games, he's got a maximum of 1 relic in every single game so far. So this is the best situation he could be in. And knowing that Louis didn't get any specific advantages now, basically, out of getting the Dervish Wing, he's probably going to look for these fights. The army, though, very much just together and not doing those singular raid groups that Louis did. He's got his Imam on to the sacred side. He doesn't want to give Louis those relics and sacred sides like he did in the previous ones.
Yeah, and I think BC now has to be looking to push his advantage, because as we said, he should still have a bunch of food under his TC, and he knows that Louis has to move out, right? And he knows that his entire eco should be open for harass. So it should be a pretty strong timing for Beasty here to try and push his advantage. And Louis is trying to wall so that he can slow down Beasty, but we'll have to see how this goes.
It does look like Beasty now is going to transition to a much heavier ground army, as we see boot camp coming through as well. With boot camp now, you're putting yourself into a position where you're automatically going to be focusing on your land mass. Now, we know what's next. Composite bows joining the fray. They are going to be so tough to handle, because with composite bows, your archers are just that much better. Now, we do have our layers of knights attacking, and he does try to get in here, but the camels are doing pretty well at keeping them back. Now, again, Louis making a play for the sacred side. He knows how nice it was to have those as free gold for most of the previous games.
Yeah, definitely. And we see Beasty actually going on stone there. We know this map has very, very little stone. So I would expect Beasty to try to go for a second and maybe even a third TC. And yeah, we'll have to see, because this is gonna be really good for him. Because but Louis is also on stone, so I think Louis is also looking to get it on TC.
So with Louis getting that much stone, you're definitely looking at keeping up with the Abbasid, because you know Abbasid goes for Eco Wing, you know they can get it for cheaper. It's a steal. I say this as he gets his towers reinforced instead. He says, I need a lot more than just that. I need towers. I need to protect my food sources. So right now, second TC might not be the answer for him. He decides it is better to keep the villagers safer, especially with these units running everywhere. So Beasty making his opponent do things that he probably didn't intend to do this early on. And that is looking really, really good for him. And finally, Beasty actually capturing both sacred sites. I think this is the first time where Beasty was able to capture the sacred sites and have that type of control on a map.
Yeah, Beasty's position is looking really strong now. He has quite a sizable military lead. He has map control, and on this map, controlling the middle is really important. It's actually fairly easy to get a sacred site victory. So this is very good position for Beasty. One of the best he's had in the mid game.
Now, with Beasty hoarding so much gold, he's most likely going to go and try to get a keep on one of these. I would imagine it being down here, as you can secure a lot of resources alongside it, but we see those alarm bells going off everywhere, and it doesn't even look like Beasty hopes to slow down. Hopefully, we do not get to see a Kiliardi keep. Actually, I would like to see a Kiliardi keep here. So, a Kiliardi keep might be what we need today. Now, with Louis hoarding this many resources, it does look like he's going for Imperial. Now, my question is just, him going for Imperial, is this going to give him the answer he's looking for in dealing with this push? And I don't think it is. Right now, he's just getting bombarded with a lot of units here at his base. And he did click up that imp as well. Oh, I said he clicked up that imp. Yep, he clicked it up. He's going for the military wing, though.
Yeah, the military wing, which has been getting more and more popular in the Imperial, because I think it gives you seven free desert raiders every like 2 minutes or something, which is really, really strong. But it's a long time until that military actually finishes. And right now, Beasty is not looking like he wants to give him this time. He's smelling blood.
Beasty looks like he's going to be very, very aggressive in this. That's 1 minute 20 seconds left. That is not something that we have time for as Louis. You can see now, with those 4 villagers out on food, he's hungry. And Beasty knows this. He's sending out the Lancer to try and shut this down. More villagers going down here to the bottom to try and get any semblance of food they can. Not so that Louis can make units, but also so that he can try and get upgrades. But he realizes that is not going to be fast enough. And Beasty evens out the series. Being down 0-3, this is actually a really big surprise.
We're just gonna get a very quick series here.
That's my fault. I'm sorry, guys. I was all me, baby. I cursed it. I
think Beasty heard you from the other side of the apartment there and was like, uh-huh.
We are not doing that. Not a chance. Not today. We're here to play all day. All the games. All day long. And I'm actually quite happy. Luckily for us, they did have yet another Ayyubids versus Abbasid. And honestly, I feel like after this, we started the series and we had no idea what this matchup's going to look like because people do not play this matchup. But I think we're finally ready. We are ready to comment on the matchup. Shuki, how would you describe this matchup right now?
I mean, I actually don't even know if I learned much more, because it feels like every game was kind of the same, but they all turned out different. So yeah, in the end, to be honest, I don't really know. Pro Scout might be good, but maybe it's not. In this game, it looked pretty good, right? It was really decisive to Beasty being able to to keep pumping units in the mid game and just having an overwhelming advantage there around like that, minute 12, 15. But on the first game he went pro scout and had so much food, but he still died very easily to the Magic League push. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, what it looks to me is that it's actually probably a fairly equal matchup, and that it's playable on both sides.
What I do agree with the fact that it could be pretty equal, I guess. Yes, but I feel like the first few games, Beasty just didn't know how to respond to the type of aggression that Louis tends to do. Now, it feels like Beasty has found his footing and he's able to respond to this. He realizes military wing is the play. I need to be aggressive. I need to make things happen. And on a map like we're seeing Lost now, Bridges, I'm excited. I finally get to see something happening real good. What's with the double bite? Oh, wait. By the way, guys, I'm just checking the sound because we changed the sound settings mid-game. Is everything fine? Can you guys hear me clearly? Am I supposed to down mix something? Because I think I activated mono. So please just let me know if you guys can hear us clearly and if everything is fine. Everything is fine. That's great
Are
to
we
hear.
okay, chat? Imagine if they were not hearing us for the past 25 minutes or so.
Yeah, I just monoed it. I think it was only playing... Oh, okay. I thought it was only playing on one side. That happens. Now, Louis and Beasty, they haven't hopped into game just yet. So looking at our next series, it was Stereo Daughter. I have no idea what that means, but luckily, that is why I'm not the sound guy. Hey! Okay, just notice the other mic on the arm.
The headset mic, I don't know either.
So I just wanted to let you guys know that Gigi Dog is very emotional about this tournament. There she is. She's very blood as well. Gigi Dog, are you okay? Like, why did you bother me? I was sleeping. Grand final tonight,
Yeah,
yes.
why you call me? Why you call me when I sleep?
Oh, she was napping and I just ruined it for her. Okay, but it's fine.
Dog.
She has to be addressed. A little bit of a princess. So we have a best of 7 left after this, and then another best of 7, and luckily Shuki gets to take a break, and I do not.
Nope, you gotta keep going.
And just so people know, I believe that the other two are allowed to start their game now already, so that they have a little bit of a break after the game. So we're going to be letting Papipo start his game already against Vortex, I believe, and hoping that we catch up with them right in time for the game. But for a last look, let's take one last look at the beautiful bracket that we have here today. So Vortex now on the other side, English versus Order of the Dent. So we'll be seeing that onto the other side. I'm assuming 50% of chat here plays English. So guys, this one's for you. So make your notes.
You think we have that many English abusers here?
How many English abusers do we have in the chat, guys? Can we get any Englishers in the chat pointing out? We will not hate on you, I promise.
Type 1 if you play English, chat.
Yeah.
So I can ban you.
No, he doesn't have mod rights, guys. Oh, wait, he does. Never played it once.
I actually do.
Well, Wyrian, the fact that you haven't played it once, I think that means you do get mod. Guys, we do have some good news though. It does sound like I can hear scouts. And you know what they say about hearing scouts? That means the game is ready to roll. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on Bridges. Now, Shuki, do you know Bridges?
Well, I've never played it because it's a tournament map that we've never had on ladder. So to be honest, I don't exactly know what you're supposed to, how you're supposed to play. There's a lot of food there, a lot of food and a lot of gold in that northern corner. I do know that all those bridges here are destroyable. So we're gonna have to see if there's a bit of cheese there going. If someone tries to get control of one of those corners.
Now, with the Bridges map, what we see usually is there's a lot of sneaky plays over here on the wooden bridge. Now, this is not a map with a lot of sheep. Oh, it's not a map with any fish. Sorry, for some reason my brain mixed up fish and sheep. But what I want to point out here is that Beastie has 4 on gold. Now, usually with 4 on gold, I'm not expecting a military wing, but after the last few performances, it's going to be military wing. So I'm not surprised, but at the same time, it's usually not 4 when you go for the military wing, unless you're going for some sneaky upgrades. So Louis, on the other hand, let's go see, going for the eco wing does not spice things up, even though Beastie not doing that either. The moment he notices what works, he's going to be sticking with it. Game speed, yes guys, we're just speeding through the sheep gathering phase so that we can see what they have. Over on Beastie's side, he's going to be a hungry boy this game. Only got 10 sheep in total left and 18 sheep on Louis' side instead. So we'll be going back to normal speed any moment now, the moment the units pop out.
Yeah, it's going to be curious to see if Beastie tries Pro Scout again, because it was pretty good for him last game. But as we can see, there's one deer pack all the way in the back of your base there, and so that one should be pretty much impossible to steal. And the other 2 are actually on that top island, which should be able to be defended if you can find a way to get a military advantage at some point. So Pro Scouts might not be the play here, and it looks like none of them are going to go Pro Scout. Beastie and both of them are queuing eco upgrades right now. So
yeah, this does look like a Pro Scoutless map for now, and I know you guys are probably pretty excited. You're like, whoa, are Pro Scouts banned in this tournament now? They just don't need it apparently. Wooden bridges though, these guys are destructible, but we only see the plays once people have to move out or try to go a little bit greedy for these bad boys over here. Now with the archery range, he's going to be able to make those archers as soon as he needs. We already have a horseman out on the map as well, and Beastie knows he needs to go and try to find some damage. Pulling all the villagers to try and build this is pretty decent for Louis to do. The thing is, Louis also has enough food to even go for fast castle if he wanted to. So I feel like Louis is okay. Even though Beastie is investing quite a lot into this early aggression, Louis does have the choice of just going for a fast castle himself, especially with all those sheep he got. He probably doesn't want to do that in terms of the woodline though, because as we can see here, the woodline is quite exposed. It can easily be intercepted here by a few archers, but it does look like Beastie is going straight for the back of the base, and he's going to be snacking on his face over here.
yeah, definitely. And Beastie not going to TC, which is, I guess, pretty surprising if you're going to play standard Abbasid. But it looks like from that first game where he did go to TC and it didn't go too well for him, I guess he's just decided that he was not viable.
Now, the horseman coming out from Louis' side too, a pretty good call, as the previous ones did not work out as well. He did get that archery range and is now making the camel archers instead, or the desert raiders, as they are transferable. This is not Abbasid, I keep mixing them up, but there's a ram now, guys. A ram, wow. So with the ram, he should be able to shut down this gold, but he needs to be careful, because if Beastie loses too many units, he's donezo.
Yeah, definitely, but it's a pretty good military lead right now, 11-6. So Beastie is looking to press his advantage and put Louis on the back foot right away. But Louis has managed to sneak a lot of units there in the north. I think it's probably villagers going for the deer.
Now the thing
That's
about
very sneaky.
it is very sneaky, but it is very risky at the same time. Because if you're moving your units all the way here, that is idle time at this point, which you probably don't want to have right now. It's a very, very risky move, but it can pay off so well once they start going. With them building the tower as well, it does make sure that they are safe, but again, it takes a lot of time that they could have been gathering resources. So this can snowball pretty quickly if he's not careful. Now, the villagers here on gold, they did get a lot of gold already. They should be perfectly fine pulling off at some point, staying in feudal, but it doesn't look like he's ready to do that. He's trying to pick off these units that is being sent around, and he is aware of the situation up here.
Oh, and Beastie actually sending a villager. Looks like he's trying to wall the... He was trying to wall the bridge there. It's really good game sense against from Louis to catch that villager. But yes, as you said, now all those vills that are on deer there are going to be very vulnerable, and Beastie just right away smells blood and goes for it.
With these...
Yeah, this is gonna be really hard to hold for Louis.
The problem here is with if he had the ram still alive, this would definitely be...
Oh, he lost the ram.
He lost the ram somehow. Not somehow. He allowed the units to get on top of them, and that's the small difference this can now make. Now, with the fact that there's not a lot of spearmen here, you do have a little bit of pushback that you have with the one spearman, but you have to be careful. If he could have had that ram here, that would be 5 dead villagers very, very quickly. And just like we said, it will pay off quickly. That quickly is coming very, very soon. The archers are trying to take as much as they can, but they do get picked off every now and again. Now, the problem is for Beastie, Louis is also looking at castle. Well, Louis, he probably doesn't realize Beastie is going castle behind this too.
Yeah, Beastie is actually going to hit castle before Louis, even though I think he made more military units. So I think Beastie is probably pretty happy with how this is going, even though he didn't really manage to completely kick him out of gold or push him out of food. But yeah, really good move. And but Louis is gonna be right behind, right?
The thing is, Louis is gonna follow this up, but like we said, we cannot rush an age up. So the moment that Beastie ages up, Louis he's clicking it up now. Oh, and he's going for the advancement wing. This is the first time we see Louis going for something a little bit spicier. With the advancement wing, he's going to get there a little bit quicker, but he's going to have a bit more resources to try and make units. And I think he realizes that he might have to, because he's gotten a lot of idle time that went through in this case. Economic wing hitting in 35 seconds, and the moment it hits, it's going to be upgrades galore, because we have 11 on gold right now, and that just tells you this is a man that wants to make sure that these units all their upgrades can be afforded.
Yeah, and I would expect him to again go for the camel lances, right? These are just so good when you get a castle pretty fast. They get you all that map control and so much raiding potential. So I would imagine that's what he's going to try to go for. But I don't know if he's really expecting Beastie to be up this fast.
With Beastie hitting it now, if he gets that horse upgrade, this is going to get harder and harder for him to hold. The villagers now idle yet again. And lances instantly in queue. Now again, lances don't do the greatest against camels, but they're pretty okay for raiding, and that's kind of what he wants to be focusing on. We see those villagers, they barely made it back, and they're already idle again. So even if he loses these, he definitely got his value in making sure that these guys don't get to do anything. Now, with him going for this deer specifically, what I want to point out to you guys is the reason this deer is so powerful is because now the villagers don't need to run all the way back and forth to actually get a little bit of value. These guys, though, they're coming yet again.
Yeah, but such good reaction time from Louis. He just has eyes everywhere. And yeah, even though those villagers are pretty low HP, they're still alive.
And we do see +2 or +1 ranged armor coming in, which is going to be quite important if you are diving. So we know that on Louis' side, he doesn't have a lot of ranged army that Beastie knows about. These archers weren't spotted before, so this is most likely because he wants to dive. So when you want to dive, you want to make sure that your ranged armor upgrades are in there. And as well, Louis getting +1 on ranged attack. So we can see Louis, he's cooking. But Louis is always also cooking forward food, and he's about to run into a little surprise.
Yeah, and this is. I mean, I think Louis' military number are looking better, and he's got those camels. But the archers are getting surrounded right now, and he looks like he's gonna lose all of the archers, and he's gonna try to trade them for the knights. But he's got a nice little raid there going.
Now, raids on both sides, and I feel like Louis definitely did a good job at picking up these vills. Every single time Beastie sent a villager out to try and build this, he did not get anything in return except a dead villager and a funeral at the cost of it. Now, again, a little bit of idle time here on the food, but at least they stayed alive. So right now, Louis is ahead. He's ahead 5 vills, and 5 vills is a massive difference in a matchup that we can see is this close.
Yeah, definitely. And right now they're fighting for relics, right? Beastie has one relic on the way. I see one dervish all the way in the north there that's going to pick up one for Louis. So there's still going to be two relics up for grabs. I would imagine both of the relics close to their base are gonna belong to each player, and so they should be fighting for the bottom one. And
Now we see those pesky camel lances we saw in the early games where Louis was absolutely dominating Beastie with those. Now, there's a lot of units here that can go down, but luckily it is all just play for the relic. So basically, relic does get picked up, one of the camels going down, but we do see the counterattack instantly going ahead from two sides, exactly as Louis does.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, right now we've got 6 camel lancers and 6 crossbows for Louis. So I think Louis' army is a bit better because BC just has a lot of archers, which are not going to do too well against the horsemen and camel lancers.
Now keep in mind, these aren't normal archers. These are composite bow archers. So they do fire a little bit faster, but they also don't last very long. Now with the +1 coming in, this is going to be a little bit harder of a punch when they do eventually connect. Now this raiding army, it does seem to be a little bit busted as it's running around at the bottom here, and it does look for a few victims along the way. I'm going to keep behind these guys so that we can keep an eye on where these boys are going. Our first control group we will be assigning to our night raid. On the other side, we're going to be looking at our defensive control group as well. The wall does finally get finished and Beastie will stop having so many raids, but he might lose a relic in the process.
Yeah, Beastie securing 3 relics there. Oh, maybe he's not going to secure it after all. A bit curious to see that that monk walking all the way to the middle of the map there, but
he tries to bring this as close as possible, and beautiful moving here just to make sure that he can get the monk, tries to get the monk away, but tries to get it as close to his base as he can. Now with these guys, they should be able to help intercept, but apparently not what they had in mind. Oh, never mind, they're rerouting, they're going straight for it, but the camel lances are ready, and oof, that camel debuff is doing its work. It does look like Louis gets to take this one home.
yeah, Louis is pretty happy about this, and yeah, he also has control of the deer there in the north. So I would say Louis' position is a bit better right now. His army, I think, is a bit stronger, and he has 3 relics. So yeah, this should be looking quite good for him right now.
We can see, as I'm trying not to click on the map and rather just going between the units here, we can see these imams, they are going down quite a bit, but both of these players making consistent plays with them. The archers now all looking very impressive with 24 of them, 27 soon. And this is going to be quite hard for Louis to handle. Even though he's got a lot of camel lancers, he's got a lot of horses, that is a lot of archers as well. And they've got the best bows in the world.
Yeah, and Beastie going back for that raid there, but now his army is Castle Age and he has a bunch of upgrades, so now he can actually chill under the tower and try to take it down. And Louis is gonna have to answer, or he's gonna lose 4 villages, but that's why Louis is a pro. He anticipates and he should be fine.
With Louis now stopping that raid, it definitely keeps his army busy, and I think that's what Beastie is looking for here. We see Beastie now, he's floating a little bit of wood here too, and that is usually indicative of exactly what we see in the base here. Now we have 2 TCs extra being put down. Now,
Yeah,
why...
3 TC for Beastie.
Yeah, the 2 extra ones are going to be so helpful in staying ahead. Because now Ayyubid, they do have that extra relic. They do have the impressive ability to just make those camel lancers that can consistently raid. So now, once your farms are placed around here, your villagers do have a little bit of an extra spot they can hide in once these guys get into the lines. So Beastie now trying to get ahead. He wants this timer to tick. He wants Louis to give him 5 more minutes to just let that 3 TC economy actually pay off.
Yeah, definitely. And now he looks like he's going to try and kill those villagers that were a bit left alone on the island, and he's gonna destroy the. Ooh, but that could be a bit scary. No, okay, it looks like they're not gonna lose the units. But yeah, so now all these villagers are kind of left alone, and he's sending them to the north there, trying to save them. But Beastie knows they have to be somewhere. I don't think these vills are going to survive.
The problem is, for most people now, why are these guys standing under the bridge? A lot of you are thinking, well, if they explode, the bridge explodes. And this will mean that the army, the moment they're on top of the bridge, they can all die. So this is why these ships are standing at the ready, and they can also cut off every mode of transportation over that bridge. The bridges can be repaired though, and now getting some military ships to secure this area as well. So with that type of army, it is pretty scary to do something like that, and saving those villagers becomes a lot harder. Now we do see a transport ship.
With the transport ship, that is 5 head. That is pretty smart. So yeah, he's gonna save these villagers after all. Really nice move from Louis here.
And Louis actually gets them out alive. Didn't think that that would be possible in this day and age, but with those guys now safely making it back home, he does not take the damage. But we can now see the villager count being in Beastie's favor. However, it looks like there is a little bit of an engagement happening. The ships still having their eye on here, and the horses now getting their own control group.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to see you using control group to cast when you know, you're not using them too much to play.
Yeah, exactly, right? No, I use at least 5 control groups to play. Thank you very much. So this is a practice not just for us to view, but also for us to understand what is happening and how you should do this with your units as well. Ladies and gents, please use control groups. Don't be like me. Ooh, but
yeah, don't abuse all army hotkey. It's not good for you.
Hey, what can I say? I wonder if I said, oh, there is an all army hotkey. I can select all army. My goodness, it works over on observing as well. Now, this is a very scary army. And Beastie now on 3TC, he's fine being on 3TC, living his best life, trying to... Ooh, Springolds. Making that thing look very, very easy to beat. And the second TC now coming out from Mr. Louis as well. And him having that second TC is fine, because he most likely doesn't know that BC is on a third TC. He probably expects a second TC. But knowing that you need to go and catch up, this is going to be a hard hit for him. The moment he sees this third TC, he's going to realize, I'm a little bit behind. And keeping in mind, cheap farms that Louis does not have just yet. Oh, he doesn't have any farms just yet.
It kind of feels like Louis is on a clock now, and he kind of has to make something happen. Because yeah, he's falling. He's already almost 20 vills behind, and even if he's got a small relic lead, that is not going to be enough.
Now he's trying to kill as many villagers as possible, because Beastie knows that he has the extra little bit of TC, so it does bode well for him already. So, not the worst position to be in. The raiding group, you bind number 1. And 3 here, we can see they are just running around and trying to keep the attention focused. I wonder what's in... Oh, just the camel rider. The camel rider is standing inside the transport ship, waiting for better days. And the horses have gotten a new place to attack. The mill. Goodbye, horses.
Yeah, screw that mill. I hate that mill.
I didn't like the way he looked at me either. And he stole his sheep right after. Disrespectful.
Yeah, we don't like that mill. But yeah, Beastie's position looking pretty good right now. I think he's got a pretty good advantage, and with every minute that passes by, he's getting more and more ahead.
And the problem is these raiding groups are going to get scarier and scarier. As we can see, the wood lines are getting a little bit barren. So now the big army at the back, they need to be careful, though. There's a lot of mangonels. We have 4 mangonels on the side of Louis against the 3 coming on Beastie. So Louis can still take this. Beastie has to be very, very careful. But with the raid group, Louis might have to pull some of that army back, and he might not know how much he needs to pull back.
Yeah, definitely. But is Beastie going to risk it, or he's just going to snipe a couple of vills?
Yeah,
yeah, if you walk in that base, you kind of give up on these units. But I mean, Beastie is probably fine with this. These are just horsemen, and he's got his farm transition already, so he can afford to lose these. He just wants to create a bit of mayhem and chaos.
So now we can already see this army engage coming on, and it's looking pretty good from Louis here. The raiding group running into spearmen, though, not exactly what you want to see from your horsemen. This can be quite dire, and Beasty realizes, pulls them back, and tries to go and get some villagers. The villagers instantly repairing this wall is key for Louis to actually stay alive in this. But the army at the front of the base, they're still looking for a fight. Now keep in mind, guys, they don't see what we see. They don't know what the numbers are looking like. These lancers have their eyes set on some siege, but not today, they say. Oh! And it goes down.
There is a lot of siege from Louis, but BC also has 4 mangonels.
But the problem with
this is going to be a very key engagement.
With Beastie's mangonels, it can be quite spicy, but the problem is there's no front line here right now. We can see the transition into spearmen now happening, so this will be really, really good for Beastie in a while, but he has to be given the time. These composite bow archers are ready to fight back against these normal archers from Ayyubids, and need to be careful though, because those horsemen are looking scary, and the spearmen are nowhere near. So that could be a very expensive loss here for Beastie. The spearmen are ready to catch up, but it looks like the mangonels are going to try to do something against the horses. They're not doing a lot of damage against it, and he needs to be careful. The boys are coming from the back, and this could be quite scary. The horses do get cleaned up here at the back, though.
Yeah, very key call from Beastie to make all these spearmen right away, because that kind of saved him. If he had lost his army, I think that game might have been over, but now he's looking quite far ahead on the eco department, and I think if Louis can't make something happen right now, I think BC is going to be running away with this game.
The problem is the mangonels are still hammering away at these archers, and luckily those spearmen do make it out all the way to the front. The mangonel focus firing on the other mangonel. Oh, never mind. Oh, but look at the beautiful shot on the archers. It does go Louis' way, but also not too much. It doesn't feel very clean for Louis. Beastie should be able to remax this. He was at 200 supply, so making a lot of these units can be a little bit expensive, but the farm transition made this a lot easier. And on Louis' side, he's got the farms too. So Louis should be okay replenishing his army, but we can see he's already struggling to get to that max pop, and Beastie has already caught up yet again.
Yeah, definitely that looked like a pretty good engagement from Louis, but as you said, the eco from Beastie is much better, and he has a full farm transition already. So for him, replenishing the army is just way easier. So even though the trade was not too good, I think he's pretty happy with the fact that Louis is just not able to finish the game.
I see a question here from a Twitch chat that I would actually like to address right now while we wait for this fight to happen. So why do farms cost wood? Where's the realism? And I guess the real question is, why do villagers pop out as adults? Why do they not have to go through childhood? Relic, fix your game. We need realism. We need to train our villagers. They need to go to school. They don't even need to finish university before going into the battlefield. So, honestly, Relic, you should be ashamed. These people don't even get to go to school.
Why are we even wasting our time here? This game sucks.
Technically, they're all in diapers here right now. They skip the first few months, but then they just skip the diaper phase and they start building right here.
I feel like diapers should be the 5th resource.
That makes sense. That makes tons of sense. That's where the realism comes in, Shuki. Good job. Good job. That's a 20-second penalty. You guys are right. These are basically children, right? Yeah, that's right. No. If I compare it like that, yeah, why don't they die after they've been alive for the whole game? If we're gonna go by that logic, yeah. So Twitch chat, we know realism, most important part of this computer game, and I'm really glad you guys pointed it out. Ooh, beautiful shot though. Beastie needs to be careful though. He might feel very confident in this fight, but if he loses too many, this game can quickly be on its head. The Mangonel kind of running around, not too sure where he wants to hit, but he says archers instead. So the boys are going to be landing right on top of their head. As we know, rocks on top of the head of people definitely doing some big damage. Another one hitting right on top of the sacred site as well. Everybody has vision, everybody's loving it. They're on top of the Mangonel. Spearmen cleaning up everything here at the back, and now Beastie's army is going to walk right through.
Yeah, I think that was a really good engagement for Beastie. I think he came out ahead there, even though now he's kind of left with spearmen against a lot of archers. But yeah, again, every minute that passes, he gets more ahead. He's like almost 50 villages ahead right now, and I wonder if even he hasn't clicked Imperial yet. But I'm not sure. No, probably no. We would see it actually because Abbasid UI is not bugged, and you actually see the wing in the UI.
And we get a situation now where I feel like Beastie, he's floating around this 200 supply consistently. And now he's just asking himself, how do I optimize this army? I already have all the keeps around the map. Beautiful, beautiful gameplay. We all know I love a good keep, and he's making sure that it's looking feisty. He's got enough resources to build another one. And honestly, what I really think we need to end this game is a wonder. So keep Louis in his base, put a wonder in his face, and let's see if we can go out with a bang. I still can't believe this might be a reverse sweep here from Beastie. After being down 0-3.
Looking really good. This is looking really good because right now Louis is just starved out of gold, right? Beastie has done kind of his signature play, which is dropping keeps on every gold on the map and slowly get map control this way. And yeah, right now Louis is he only has this tiny gold in the middle that he's trying to secure, but yeah, it's not gonna be that easy.
Now, what I want you guys to know about is we also have an extra prize for someone winning with the most amount of villagers. So, if Beastie can close this game out with 155 villagers, I think he might be in the running. We do get a culture win here from Mr. Beastie now, so Beastie is going to be able to get a little bit more ahead in terms of getting that Imperial army. We can imagine how these guys are going to do the moment they get into the space with those elite upgrades as well.
Yeah, definitely Beastie's position looking really good. But yeah, that maximum villager price, that was always going to be Beastie, right? 156 villager. That's a pretty good number. And Reddit is probably going mad, telling me, "Wow, why do you have so many villagers? You should only have 90." But
why is Abbasid broken?
He's playing and we're watching.
And that's why Reddit is posting on Reddit. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Reddit enjoyer, we're very proud of you. Big pillar of the community. And we always need you. Thank you for being you. But most importantly, thank you for going to make a post on Abbasid after this. You guys, we see that Abbasid doesn't need to be great again. They're already pretty great. Apparently, in the right hands, Abbasid can make it all the way to the finals of a tournament with no civilization taking them down. 156 villages right now. This does look to be the record that we've had on the board here. So Beastie might be walking away with that extra $50 in prize money at the end of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Abbasid is one of those good saves if you're gonna be looking to have a lot of villagers, right? I remember you doing the Vill only challenge with Abbasid.
I used to be able to get to diamond with that, but apparently people are just better now. What a shame.
Yeah, that is kind of disgusting.
So, now what we can see is dead villages on the horizon. The gold villages, the villages that were, and the Beastie age up behind that crossbowman. Let's go see what the upgrades are. We get a spearman. Oh, cancel, Beastie.
Just cancel everything? What do you mean?
He's waiting for the cost of technology. He says, I have the time, I have enough resources to think about a wonder. I might as well just save a little bit more resources and then go for it. So Beastie,
so many resources.
He is ready to produce. And honestly, the army numbers look so sad from the outside. We look at them and you're like, this could be pretty dangerous, but we know that they're just going to pop out the moment he clicks this. Preservation of knowledge now coming through, so it's going to be nice and cheap, and everything else is being upgraded to elite. Now costing 560. Oof, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, this feels like this is kind of Louis' final hurrah, right? He has to go for it. If he can't kill Beastie right now, I think this game is going to be over, because I don't think he's clicked Imperial yet, and not having access to any of that top gold there is gonna make it really hard for him to even afford it.
We were wrong, Shuki. He's
Okay,
gone for the
take it,
military
take
wing.
it,
He
take
needs
it.
3 units and he
Okay,
needs it
okay.
now.
Yeah, but even then, without gold, Imperial is not so good. He has that tiny little gold in the middle, but that's just not gonna cut it.
So Louis could potentially sit back and try to let the resources or the passive units do the talking. The problem is Beastie is just going to be able to replenish so quickly. So now, apparently Louis wants to push back. He doesn't want to let these trebuchets just fire for free. And it looks like he killed these and caused these guys to have a safe exit in the end. I don't think he intended to
that
let
bridge
the...
mechanic is pretty fun. It's a pretty fun mechanic to have in the game, I feel.
It's unique. So Louis Imperial now, he's getting upgrades. He gets +3. What else, Louis? He's getting a lot of Desert Raiders. So Desert Raiders now, hopefully for him, going to be a saving grace. He doesn't have anything that can deal with keeps. So that's usually the expensive part. Desert Raider upgrade as well, and he's getting a ship. Ladies and gentlemen, he gets a Quebec. I don't know. How do I say that, Shuki?
Quebec. I don't know.
Put it in French accent for
mean-
me. Tell me.
Quebec.
Quebec. Okay, that's so cute. I love that. Okay.
I don't think that's how you say it, though.
Quebec.
If we have any Middle Eastern enjoyers in the chat, maybe they can help us. But,
Yeah, we don't have a large population of Middle Easterners playing this video game. Actually, quite sad to
No.
see. Would have loved to have that. Then we could have language experts. Kek W Beck. Actually, that might be the best name so far. But Beastie now,
Kek
he's... Kek Beck. I think we have our winner. Now the dock, he's trying to stop this, but that trebuchet is taking a lot of shots. It feels like Louis is saying, I need to make a play on this water. Louis is max pop now. Beastie is max pop now. University upgrades coming out in hordes for Beastie. But keep in mind, we're still playing against an Abbasid, right? And we have a lot of upgrades here. So, I want to see public libraries. These are going to be the chunkiest villagers and traders in the lands. But look at those Springles. They're doing amazing work at doing AoE damage. But the boys, they don't want to be fired at forever. They're going to the back line and they are going to be snacking on them.
yeah, that's just so much army and so much eco for Beastie. Yeah, I think he's just gonna wipe this out, and he just has so much eco. Like he has this huge full, he's 200 pop, still has like what 5k resources in the bank or something. Beastie is looking pretty good.
Now, with Beastie cleaning up that army, it doesn't look like Louis has the ability to replace this just yet. It looks like Louis is pretty much struggling here. He's trying to get a little bit of gold, anything he can, but this is going to be lost along the way. Every little bit of gold that he picks up, it's going to be used for units, but they're going to die as quickly as they join the party. Now, we do have our little culverins here trying to fight back as well. Beastie's army, quite aggressive. I see people asking if Beastie is trading. Not yet. But the gold is going to be shut down. Even though it wouldn't have been shut down, it's depleted. Louis knows this is his last time. He's going to be getting any gold, and he needs to try and make it with this army. His Cake W
Yeah,
back doing its
There's
best.
no more gold anywhere on the map actually, so trading is going to be the only way for any of these players to keep getting some gold. But yeah, as we said, the thing is, Abbasid is usually a pretty good late game civilization, and I think Beastie is pretty happy in this position right now.
Beastie is going to be able to push this one slowly, and it looks like Beastie is pretty confidently just hanging back and firing back at these. Now, with this keeps over on this side of the map, he does have full control. He's got full control of the resources here. He's depleted most of the resources here, let's be fair. But now he just needs to get control of this sacred site and then try to push out, and that's exactly what he is doing here. Now, Louis did try and 5-hit him here by making those walls in, and it does look like Beastie is going to be able to do this final push. He's deleted several of his villagers, and Now, the push is starting to get scarier and scarier.
Yeah, definitely. And Louis going with the very big brain composition of just mass Desert Raider. I'm curious to see how this is going to go for him.
This is actually pretty cool, though.
But it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good.
I can imagine you can kite most units into a different dimension. So this could, as far as trading effectively goes, I can see why this is the weapon of choice.
Yeah, I mean, this is the good part of those mounted archers unit is that in Imperial, they get so many upgrades because they can get the incendiary upgrade, they get the silk bow upgrade for increased range, and they also get the increased health for cavalry, which I don't remember the name of right now. So that's 3 Imperial upgrades that they get in Imperial that make them just so good, right?
No, but I want to point.
This is a true camel enjoyer fight right now. We have Desert Raiders versus camel archers.
And a mangonel.
And a mangonel. I would kind of like Beastyqt to just go mass camel archers, and I just want to see camels on the field.
Yeah,
else.
the only cab. Subscribe to the only cab. So, guys, villagers now 120 HP. So even when he gets on top of these, they're gonna be a lot harder to kill. The usual villagers 75. So we can see those upgrades from Abbasid actually playing out in the late game pretty nicely. Now Louis, he does get these free raiders every few moments, but he realizes that is it, and
Yeah.
Beastyqt makes the comeback of the century on Abbasid against Ayyubids. My
Damn.
goodness.
Yeah, that was
this
a
even
nice quick
possible?
little series.
Woo!